Good morning, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Another live stream on Sunday, and this time we have all laptops are no power. No power, no power, no power. So we don't know what's going on with them. And based on the description, they almost seem like all different issues, so we will see. I hope everyone's doing good today. I feel like I'm a little bit under the weather. Yesterday I wasn't feeling good. I woke up this morning and I'm like, gosh, my head hurts and my eyes are puffy and my throat sounds weird, so bear with me if I am not the sharpest tool in the shed today. But I hope everyone's having a good weekend, and are we ready for some shenanigans here? So yeah, one housekeeping thing. I did update the settings on Twitch, and I think Twitch is now accepting my 1080p stream, so it should look a lot sharper on Twitch. Hopefully it's not cutting in and out. So I'm sending 8 megabits over there at 1080p. What I was doing before was sending 10 megs, and I think they weren't liking that, and so they were like kicking me down to a lower setting or something like that. So, but hopefully, I do appear a little clammy. Okay, all right, yeah. And then AC's not. I have the AC cranked in here, but it feels just hot in here, so I don't know. Hello from Jamaica. Bourbon's the only answer. You know, I had a little bourbon last night. Maybe that is contributing to this. Actually, I had 2 beers and 2 bourbons last night, and that may have slowed me down a little bit. But it literally looks like I just rolled out of bed, doesn't it? And I've been up for hours. I woke up hours ago, and I've been working all morning getting ready for the stream today. Hello from Germany. More carnage, more carnage. It's 12 a.m. on Monday. It's tomorrow, huh? Interesting. You feel some sinus pressure 1,000 miles away. And I took a few different things. I took a couple Advils, and then I took a allergy medicine, like a Zyrtec, and then I took a vitamin D. B. And so we'll see if that kicks in. Twitch says source 1080p. Nice. All right. So we have a good source feed going over there to the old Twitcher. So I'm glad that you guys have a better view. So anyway, votes are up. There's only 4 minutes left on the Twitch or on the votes. Now the 3 machines that are in there. God, my brain's already malfunctioning. They're all no power. So Area 51, I think it was playing and then shut off, and then no power. And then the G15, I think it was playing and then shut off, no power. And then the other one is unknown why it's no power, but none of them turn on. So take it as you will. So. Hello from Costa Rica, San Jose. Good morning. Hello from Roman. Hey, Robert. Roman, Robert, and you. Everyone's there. I never knew you had beer. No, I bought beer yesterday because I went over to a friend's house, and I was like, I didn't want to sit there and just drink some bourbon, so I had a couple beers. I don't drink beer. Beer's so heavy. 2 bourbons, 1 scotch, 1 beer. And they were actually IPAs, and they were 8% alcohol, which is like way heavier than I normally do. So. Hello from South Africa. Oh yeah, and it could be a virus too, because it's going around right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. The scratchy eyes and all that stuff. Hello from Round Rock, Johnny V. Okay, so 3 minutes yet left. Hey, we got a tier 1 subscription. Thank you there, Bacon or Bonko. Bo Cannell. It's hard to read some of these names, man. You guys are killing me with your names. Hello. All right, so I have a phone, 1080p phone that YouTube supports 4K from you. I don't know. So I'm not sending a 4K to YouTube, which my canvas is 4K, and then I downsample to 1080p, and then that's what I'm sending out. I don't know if that's the best thing. I could try sending 4K out. I just don't know if we're going to have some issues or not. So actually, I want to see how my encoder's doing on the task manager. Let me pull that up. So I'm running a 4060 Ti, and so you can see that I'm only using 35% of my encoder or on my GPU, so it's not too bad. So I could actually boost some stuff up. I could try to send out a higher stream. Now I record all my videos in 4K, and that's what I'm uploading when I'm uploading that. But you know, as for a stream, I don't know. Hello from Austin. Hey, that's where I am. Hi from Poland. Everyone's saying hi to Roman. Everyone say hi to Roman. Hello from Syria. Okay, so a couple things. Let's see what we got. Black screen. Did you guys get a black screen on that? Did you not see my task manager just now? Interesting, interesting. When he shared it with blank. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me check that. Give me a second here. It might be that same thing where the screen share wasn't right. Let me pull up my screen share page here. So, oh yeah, it is blank. Okay. Let's find the display to capture. Not that one. That's the one. Crazy screen, psychedelic screen. Okay, so we'll go back over here. So this is what I was showing. Oh, look, we had an encoder spike. So 36, 35, whatever it takes. So that's where we're at with my encoder. And then here's my upload right here. It's right around 6 megabits. And 21 gigs of RAM being used and only 22% of the CPU. So I have a 4060 Ti that's running this stuff. All right, is that better? I'm glad we got that figured out now, because otherwise later we would have had an issue. I don't know why it reset my monitor again. Oh, I got new monitors. So, okay. So, we see the Twitch poll's actually done. I didn't pull up polls here. Pull up the polls. The Twitch poll's already done. We start those, when it starts a little early, we don't have enough people on there yet, but hopefully everyone voted. I don't know how many votes we ended up having. Does it tell me? 16 votes. We had 16 votes for the X15R2, and then only 5 for the Area 51. So I'm going to end the vote here. And so we end up having the X15R2 is going to be the first machine we're going to work on. The second one is going to be a 40%, and that's at the Area 51. And then we'll come in the rear with that G15. So that's what we're going to do, all right? Let me hide that. And so, you know, I have tons of machines here right now, and I was trying to find something interesting. And it's funny, right now on my shelf that's in the queue for to be worked on next is actually, they're all USB issues, USB-C issues. And so we almost had like a whole USB stream. Oh gosh, would you guys want to see all USB-C repairs, or would you want to see, do you like these no powers better? The G15, boo, we'll get to it, we'll get to it. You don't think we can knock out 3 in one morning? Come on. I'll be there till 11:15. Yeah, Johnny has to go to church and run the camera system over there. So, okay, 1660 Super, 21 gigawatts, 1.21 gigawatts. Okay, so we have it set. It's going to be X15R2. Now, this one could be something bad or good. So on the X15s, let me pull that one out, wherever that one is. These X15s can be leaking liquid metal because they have liquid metal on them. They can be a blown component, like a blown capacitor or something like that. I rarely see blown capacitors on these types of machines for some reason. The notes have a customer's name in it here. Let me see if I can scratch that out here. Hey, if you want, I'm online now. You are online now. So which one are you, is that your one of these is your laptop? Which one of these is your laptop? Oh man. Okay, let's see. Let me take a look here. The engineer. Oh my gosh, so many words. My brain is not working today. I can tell. Like, I'm like looking at it and my eyes are glazing over. I have to let me change the stuff here. I'm being a little sick does not help in the quest of fixing motherboards and talking to 1,000 people. Give me a second here. There we go. See if I can change my chat layout better. Okay, no task, no task, no, no, no. What's the no nada? What was the question I asked for that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, USBs. Maybe that's what y'all are responding to. Check the charger. Okay, so did we lag? Hopefully we didn't lag. Come on. You got 360p on your M140. That's so fun. No, I mean mine. Oh, right. Okay, so the 7559. Okay, yeah, so we have the 7559. I actually have it here. So he has his machine in, and it's a full rebuild of a 7559. Okay, and 7559 is an older gaming edition of an Inspiron, And so I was going to do a rebuild of it on next Wednesday's stream, and then so he's just basically telling me that he's here right now, and we could do it now. We've already done the votes on this other one. I already have these in the queue, so I'd rather just kind of stick on the status quo, and then we'll pivot that to the next Wednesday one, if you don't mind. All right, so here's the note here. And I scratched out the guy's name. Hopefully we can't see it there. So, dear repair, is that me? Does that mean? You guys are going to have to read all these words. There's too many words. I'm not sure what the problem is, but my grandnephew had it, and his grandparents let him use it, and then they passed away. Okay. Which is not a good idea. And let's see, AC adapter, LED, the cord lights up, but it does not go on. Push the power button, nothing. So it's basically, they say it's a small crack. Let's see, high-end gaming machine. Yeah, so what I'm seeing here is basically saying that there may be some physical damage or something like that attributed to it, but I don't know. And I don't think that's going to be the case on this one here. So it got dropped. It got dropped, see? I don't know if this is the damage right here. There's a little dent here. So if that is the case, we have LLM in here. We have liquid metal, and then it could be LLM, leaky liquid metal. And so if you did hit it hard, it could have some liquid metal shoot out of the dam and then get on the board. So that will be something that we're going to have to address if that's what's going on. But let's do our intro and get going. God, I really don't feel good. My nose is sniffling and everything. So let's see, X15R, what is this? So I get my titles right. See if I can get I don't know if I'm going to nail this intro or not. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved, and this time we have Alienware X15R2. Now this laptop is kind of unknown on what actually has caused the issue. We had a youngster playing with it and apparently might have dropped it, and now it no longer turns on. They hit the power button, nothing happened. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. Okay, let's see if that is okay. I don't know. So, did I nail it? Okay, cool. Let me see. So the first thing I want to do is see if it turns on. Ooh, it's dirty. Ugh, it is dirty. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see this. This might be a glove situation here, but this looks like it might have a spill or something, or someone's been eating lots of bags of chips on top of this thing. It is super slimy and greasy. It almost, oh, I don't know. Oh, you want me to redo the intro? No. Yeah, see the shine here? It almost looks like there's some sort of like, I don't know. It's hard to describe what I'm looking at here. But let's see if it turns on. Press the power button. I recommend gloves. Oh, yeah, I might do gloves on this one. It's weird. I don't know what's on it. Maybe I can just wipe it down. Can I just wipe it down? I'll do that. I don't like gloves. Gloves are just another whole thing to deal with here. An alcohol bath. Let's go. The problem with this is these will fall apart if you put too much alcohol on it. Ultrasonic the whole thing first. So I have to be very careful. So I always use distilled water with a little bit of alcohol, just to try to be gentle on the paint, because it will actually peel off the paint on these. Live and learn. Live and learn. Are you okay, bro? Yeah, I'm not feeling too good this morning. Feeling a little sick here. Okay, that's better. At least I feel like I'm not going to catch a disease. I'm already sick, but I'm not going to catch anything from this thing. All right. Power button does nothing. Let's go ahead and plug in the power meter. Keep an eye on that. We'll put a Spike's little chart here. All right, we're going to plug it in 3, 2, 1. It's a biohazard, I say. Biohazard, no. Gosh. All right, so we plugged in the charger. It did jump up. We had a little bit of inrush current. It jumped up, and now it's flatlining at 0.02, 20 milliamps. That is the perfect resting current for this machine. I'm going to open and close the lid. I just want to see if it does respond to that at all. It's not doing anything, so the Hall effect sensor does not care if I'm opening or closing it. I'm going to hit the power button and see if we get anything. We're not getting anything. All right, so do you think the power button's bad? You know how many people think it's the power button when that happens? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna pull it, flip it over, take the bottom off here, and take a look inside. Oh, it's already unscrewed. Nice. And the bottom is off. And what do we got here? What do we have here? They invented a UV decontamination box. That actually would be a good idea. Just stick it in there for an hour. Okay, so bottom's off here. I see stuff. Ugh. Okay, I'm putting gloves on. All right, that was enough. Enough for me to stop here. Gosh. Oh my gosh, what is going on, dude? What is that stuff? All right, so after I get my gloves on, which I should have done in the first place, like you were saying, let's just take a quick look around. We have the main battery. Main battery's not plugged in. Looks like we can flick the battery connector here. So it does look OEM. I don't know what this blue tape is here. On these machines, they have, it just says Alienware here, and it doesn't have like a Dell logo. These have 4 fans to blow in and out over here, and then these other 2. What I'm seeing here is, I see stuff. I see like sticky, liquidy. It almost looked like cat pee to me for a second. That's why I kind of like really stopped for a second. Might be Coke. It looks sticky, right? I don't know what it is. So we might have some sort of liquid damage on here, and we have the NVMe is populated. I'm going to pop that thing out of here just to get that out of the picture. Ultrasonic cleaner. No, I don't want to clean it right this second. But yes, we probably will end up having to pull the whole thing apart and cleaning it if we do see a big pile of spill. I hate spills. I actually thought this was going to be a EC chip. So hopefully it's going to be an EC chip. Premise already said EC. No gloves. These are my like Dexter gloves right here, right? So since this thing was dropped, there might be liquid metal leaking out. Since we do see evidence of a spill, it could be a spill. Since this is an X15R2, it could be an EC chip. So we don't really know where we're at this point. I'm just going to take some of this stuff off so we can get a little bit closer, and then I'm going to do a little bit of measuring, and I'll show you how we can determine if it's a EC chip pretty quickly on these machines. And I just want to make sure, am I taking the screw out and this is the right screw? Yeah, I think this is the right screw. Sometimes it looks like people change out the screws. Now in this machine, I want you to, this is an X15, R1 and R2 both have this thing. There's a ribbon cable here and a ribbon cable here that attach to this rear arena light. And people forget to unhook that before you pull it off, and it actually rips the cable. And these things are hard to get. So you'll have no arena light. It was dropped. Or dropped into something. There you go. There you go. All right, so we got the rear cover off. So here's what I want to do to test to see if we have an EC chip issue, is that I rarely wear gloves, by the way. This is probably, I mean, I have a box right there. I'll put them on maybe once a month. I don't like gloves. It just, I don't have that you know, that sense of feel or whatever, you know. I love to feel the electronics in my hand and know where all the chips are, or whatever. All right, so let me plug in the charger. I'm going to measure right here where it comes into the board. We want to see if we're having a momentary kind of spike of voltage and then turning back off, because that means that the EC chip probably has some bad programming, and it would be pretty easy to fix if we have that. We can look at this. You want to look at this suspicious liquid? I'm telling you, it looks so sticky or something. I mean, what do you think? That's what it kind of looked like. I mean, I guess if it was cat urine, it'd be a little bit more, how you say, crystallized. Nate's going crazy. Here, I'm going to find something that I don't care about getting stuff on. Okay. It doesn't smell like anything that I notice. All right, we need a laboratory. I need to send this thing to the lab to get tested. Sugar, 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 apple juice. There you go. Apple juice. That's what it is. Because it is a youngster. Then we have some forensic hairs. I don't know if that's a cat. Kind of like a cat. See, it has double colors there. Some more over here on this van. But I don't know. Oh! Oh, oh, Okay. All right. Well, there she blows. Hello, hello from Norway, celebrating Independence Day. Awesome. Well, congratulations there. Thank you there, Santa Claus. All right, so I think we found why this thing's probably turning itself off or protecting itself. It's in protection mode. I don't like liquid damage. I don't want it. I don't wanna. Okay, so do we think that this is just a liquid damage spill and that's it? I don't wanna. That's ugly. All right, so let's just do a gander around everywhere else. We're probably going to have to pull the board to look at the other side too. I don't know if we did get anything else. Maybe on this other edge, got more hairs. I don't like it. I don't like liquid spills. What about over here? Over here. Yeah, so I bet that the board or the power management chip is detecting a short or some sort of flaw in that area and then keeping the machine from turning on. So let's at least clean this up, or well, we can measure at least. I feel like some of the components have suffered some emotional damage from the spill. Here's something for your courage. Thank you so much there, Mark. Let me measure this. High voltage blowout. Yeah, the battery plugs into this connector here, and I'm assuming this is battery plus on this side. Let me measure. I'm just going to go in continuity mode real quick just to see if we do have a short in this area. Because this is ground, this is plus, this is bad. You know what? This is the EC lines, these two. You see these two traces right here? 1, 2, those both tie to the EC chip so the battery can communicate with it. Lamb, thanks for the Prime sub for 6 months. Yeah, so this ties to the EC chip, so we might have to do a new EC chip on this thing too. What do you think about that? It's a battery plus. Plus a lot of crap on it. Bourbon courage. Maybe we should clean it with some bourbon. And if this is sugary, you're supposed to clean it with a water-based product, right? Distilled water. All right, I'm just gonna measure over here real quick, see if we have anything obvious, but this is totally gone. This is totally gone. Santa Claus, 4 months, donor board member. I bet the power button did do something. Go Norway. All right, let's clean this up because I don't see a short over here. I'm just gonna clean it up and we'll just have to replace all those components, but I guess we have to pull out the board. I mean, the EC chip's over here. We can plug in the power and see if we are getting voltage anywhere, but I want to clean that first, right? Fizzy water, that's what it is that Soren uses. I don't have any fizzy water, but I do have distilled water. So let me just clean this first. We're going to replace all those components. So I'm trying to put this in the back of my head what it looks like before I clean it. So we're going to replace these 3 and those 2, and that should be everything in this area. Oh, what? Gosh, look at that. It's weird. It's like, okay. Yeah, just filmy. I'm gonna have to get some water on it instead. This was alcohol. I just want to see what it did, but it's sticky. So now we're gonna do some distilled water instead. So here's distilled water. Yeah, distilled water worked way better than that alcohol. Look at that. So sugary substances need distilled water. That's crazy. That's night and day, isn't it? So for sure, Soren knows. He's the man. All right, so now I'm going to go back to isopropyl here. I'm going to somehow get this water out of here. I don't like liquid damage. It's probably sugary soda. Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably Sprite. But apple juice could have been on point too. Sugar eats away solder. Well, it didn't look like it actually damaged anything, which is funny. You know? Because those components actually look pretty good. It's just funny, because if it was water, it wouldn't have been really messed up. These things would have been falling apart or falling off the actual traces. Is this completely broken here, though? What is this? No, that's just some sort of oxidation. Welcome, you saved another laptop! Tar, or how you pronounce that? Tarlin? Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to a saved another laptop tier. I just want to measure to see what these are measuring. 0 ohm. This should be a pull-up, 100 ohm pull-up, 100 ohm pull-up. So that's all measuring fine. What's going on here, people? Do you think it cracks on one of these? No. Look how clean it looks now. I mean, there's a little bit underneath that chip still, but that's pretty crazy. I'm kind of want to plug in the power now and see what it does. What do you think? It ate the tin off the copper. I don't know if it did or not. Oh, over here it did, yeah. Look at that. That is weird. Wait a minute. This leg's not even attached. What? What? I've never seen that before. What in the wide world of sports? Look at this. Yeah. So this one is not attached. And that one's not attached. How is that possible, people? Is that just a bad solder joint originally? There's no shorts that I can see. What the what? I mean, would the corrosion eat away, sugar eats solder? Okay, so that's conclusive. It has acid, so because it collected there long enough, instead of saving another laptop, save this one. Oh, Santa. We will. We will. All right. God, this connector's still nasty. All right, let me clean some more. It's Mountain Dew. That's what it is. Mountain Dew will eat away all that stuff. Okay, this is some more water again. Trying to get down in here. Looks like brand new copper traces. We need to get some of that to clean solder traces for us. Electrolytes from the spill. Get a hose. Get a rope. I don't want to take these gloves off. I hate gloves. They're so hard to work with. They're so hard. I don't know how Joey Does Tech uses the big giant mechanic ones. Those are really thick. Okay, so that looks a lot cleaner. Let me just test these again. I want to see how bad these are. We can just reflow these. Yeah, those two aren't even attached. All right, that's all attached still. All right, what do you think we should do next here? We want to ultrasonic cleaner the whole board, not before we turn it on. I don't want to have to do. I mean, I'll turn the ultrasonic cleaner on at least. That way, in case we end up getting to that point. But usually, I will not do a whole board dip if we don't have like it. I mean, it has to be in more places. If it's just kind of a spot clean, then I generally won't do it. Sometimes the ultrasonic cleaner can cause issues. It's not just like a foolproof thing where you're going to stick it in there and it never causes an issue. So let me reflow these two pads here, and then I want to test to see if we have a, well, we don't have a short, but we'll measure on some other rails because there may be a short somewhere else, like you're saying, and there may be stuff on the other side of the board too. Was the gray stuff from previous repair? No, whenever I mixed it with it, it like spread that around. So it was the actual stuff. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think the alcohol mixed with it and just maybe pulled out whatever that they wanted to pull out. What am I looking for? I'm looking for flux and solder here. So I got solder, flux. Yeah, because I think we're going to have to pull the board out regardless and get to the other side. But I at least want to do this right now. Gosh, the AC, it's hot in here. It feels so hot. Maybe it's because I have gloves on. I'm taking these gloves off. I've already cleaned off all this area here. It's like having gloves on my hand makes me even hotter. I can't breathe. My hands can't breathe. Man. Doesn't want to. There it goes. Let me see if I can heat this up a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add some heat. This is 250 degrees. I'm just adding heat to this area while I'm doing this. So if you ever have issues trying to get a pad to suck solder onto it, just do this. It helps. I don't know why it wants to give me such trouble here. I think I need to rotate my board though. I'm also soldering in a weird position. Okay, let's try this again. Only 12 likes. What? I was like, what? You were like, what? It needs a 240 watt Amazon charger. Yeah, that will fix it right up. Man, I have one of those on my bench right now that's sagging down to 18.7. I guess on our last stream we actually saw one of those do that. Fake chargers. Fake, 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 fake. This is... Man, these don't want to... Sorta. Sorta's not working here. Any better flux? I may not use that flux. Let's try... Like out of all my good stuff. I need to order more good stuff. Look at that. Big blob of solder there. Is it real or is it fake? Today on Is It Real or Is It Fake? I'm losing my mind, people. Alright, yeah, this is super sketch. I don't know why it doesn't want to stick on there. It really ate away at that copper, but I think I got it now. Okay. So, let me clean this back up, see what that looks like. Sorry, I didn't realize it was not in the view very well. The connector is jacked. You and your puns, man. Okay. So nickel plating is stripped, so it's not tinning well. That's probably what it is, and that's why I need to get hot enough. So let's see how well that is now. Copper's slightly chemically changed. Still need to add more solder on that pin, but it looks better at least. Yeah, I'm going to probably reflow this whole thing. You know what? Let's look down inside the connector, because I bet the connector is pretty jacked inside of it. What do you think? Jacked. The connector's jacked, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get down in there. Okay, well, we're going to replace this connector. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, we could try to clean down in there. We could do that too. Or you could just say ultrasonic clean it and then that will fix it. So maybe we're all right. Everyone's right. I don't know. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I don't necessarily want to change the connector out if I don't have to. So yeah, if we just we could stick a toothbrush down there, try to clean it, but we can also throw it in the machine. Also trying to clean it, could clean it too. I don't know. But I want to plug in the power and see what voltages we're getting. I know you think I'm crazy for that, but somebody got to do it. Atari, you hot. Gloves or no gloves? Well, thank you for that. Tasty. Okay, so here's where the power comes in. We just want to see if we have voltage. You can't see that. There we go. All right, plugging in the charger. Charger's plugged in. And let's measure the voltage here. I concur. Plug it in, plug it in. All right, so we have voltage here, 20 volts coming in. And then it's going to go through these two MOSFETs. Or I think it comes into this one MOSFET first, actually. It's not going past that. So it goes into it. It's not coming out of it. And so we don't have any power over here. But we have 0.39. That's good. All right, so here's what I want to do. Let me get a good ground here. Darn it. I need a place to hold my ground because I need more hands. Here, let me unscrew one of these screws. Take a screw out and I can stick my probe in there. Prime sub for 6 months. Thank you. Okay, here we go. So what I want to do is I'm going to measure over here on the main power rail when I plug in the charger. This can tell us if we have an EC chip issue. So if I get the polarizer right. Okay, so I'm going to unplug the power. It's still showing 0.17 on the main power rail because we have capacitors. And we plug it back in. If it goes to 20, stays on there, and it shuts back off, then we most likely have an EC chip issue. So I think, this is kind of where I'm mathing, is I think that we had the spill here, and these tied directly to the EC chip, both of these. And so it probably sent a good jolt over to the EC chip. So either blew out the EC chip, which I don't think is blowing out. I probably think it's just programmed or garbled the code. And so now the EC chip's not knowing how to actually run a whole thing there. So good stuff. Should there be a tomorrow? Thank you there for that super chat. So how does the power sense resistor work? Okay, so on these machines, so we have current coming in. We have a couple MOSFETs that turn on, and they're powered by the power management chip, which is on the other side of the board. But the power management chip controls these MOSFETs and allows the flow of current to the board. And then it's going to go through a current sense resistor, and it measures on either side of the current sense resistor or the shunt. And you're basically trying to figure out how much current is going through that resistor at any given moment. And if the board detects a issue on the board, like a short or something like that, or an overcurrent, then it will automatically shut off these MOSFETs to protect the board. Now what you'll have sometimes is these MOSFETs will end up shorting on, so they'll become a wire, so they won't turn off, and then that's when it starts shorting the AC adapter, and your AC adapter has its own protection that will shut off if it has overcurrent. So you're supposed to have multiple stages here, and that's why aftermarket chargers are really bad, because a lot of times they don't have the protection where it doesn't shut off, so therefore if you have issue, it ends up an issue with the board, it doesn't shut off the charger and causes more of an issue. So that's what's going on here. So we're going to have to try reprogramming the EC chip and to see if this thing comes on, and then we'll probably end up doing a hot dip. We also probably have some sort of corrosion on the other side of the board too. So let's do the EC programming first. I'm going to go check the AC because I'm getting hot. The air conditioning in here is not working for some reason, and it's driving me crazy. So let me go check the AC. I'll be right back. I tried to turn it on beforehand, and it didn't seem to change. I can hear it blowing. Okay, we'll see. All right, so let me get my EC programmer. Now, the EC is called the embedded controller, or what were you calling the emotional something over there in chat? And so the embedded controller runs a loop of code, and it's a small loop of code, probably around 160 kilobytes. And it's basically just checking a bunch of GPIOs, general input and output ports or pins, to turn on and off the machine, and actually it handles all the keyboard presses and the lid, opening and closing the lid, and things like that, where I can tell those types of signals. So the soda controller. No AC, that ruins a board. Yeah, I don't know why the AC is not working right. It's strange, but this AC on this side of the building, we have 5 ACs in this building, so this one is supposed to work. It actually works the best out of all the ACs, and it's the oldest one actually, which I think is crazy. All right, so on this one, I'm not even going to pull the board out while we do this. We do have programming headers on this side of the board, and so we'll be able to just connect right to those and program the EC chip. Now what I'm using is I can't pronounce it. What is it? Here, I'll show you. The link's in the video description, so if you wanted to try to get one of these things are expensive though. So it's this thing right here. How do you say that? Program Lacy something. SAS. It's a SAS programmer. Made in Turkey. So, hey, thanks for that super chat there. So anyway, links in the video description, and then I've used PC Bytes, and that's the little spider. It allows me to actually connect to it without having to solder. I used to solder all the time, and I don't like having to solder it on there. It's a pain to solder it on there. So we're going to hook a ground right there. We're going to need to plug in the power when it's time. And then the programming headers I'm going to have to pretend them so we don't have issues with it connecting. I hope a thief didn't steal it. Oh no. Yeah, they're on the roof. Yeah, I have 25-foot ceilings in here. This is a warehouse building. And the unit that I have, I think it's a 2005 or 6 unit. It's an old unit. It's still running like R22, I think. And but it blows the coldest out of all the rest of the machines. I mean, it's crazy. And but anyway, here's our EC chip. The programming headers are right there. And so I'm going to pretend these wherever my flux went. You want to check for liquid metal first? We have to pull the whole board apart to do that. The symptom I'm seeing is an EC chip, and these things are notorious for having an EC chip issue. So that's the only reason why I am jumping to this. It's very quick to do this, and so, you know, I know what you mean. If it was a liquid metal issue, it wouldn't do what it's doing. And then since we do see the spill on the EC lines of the battery, that's another. So I'm just taking these clues and just kind of going with that. Now, it's not to say we don't have leaking liquid metal. It's not to say we don't have more liquid damage on the other side of the board. That's, you know, probably even the case. I don't know. All right, so here's our pins here. It's only this first 4 that we're going to be dealing with. And then I have a little diagram here. See, these are the pins. And then it's these last 4 right here. Or first 4, however you want to look at it. And I have them labeled to my colors, so purple, green, yellow, blue. But these are the actual pinouts right there. And this one actually is the same as this pin. So that's going to be your CLK. So we got DO, DI, CLK, CS. And those are the connections you want on those 4 in a row. A high pressure blowout. Hopefully I don't have a high. I mean, it doesn't feel hot in here. It just doesn't feel like I have AC cranking cold. That's what I don't know. So I actually just turned it down or off again, and then I'm going to turn it back on. Just hopefully it didn't freeze up or something like that. Because if it's low on refrigerant, then we're really going to have an issue. So I'm just going to start tacking these in place based on my layout. Let's see. Let's go with the odds. Okay, so the odds here are pretty high. I would say I would put this in the 90s, 90 percentile that this is going to turn the board on. Now, I don't know what percentage I would put as this being the only issue left after we clean that on the board, but I've done enough of these to really know that this is probably the issue, especially in this machine. All right, sometimes it's hard to get them all lined up here. They're fighting for space. So I'm just going to get them close and then we'll adjust them afterwards. I remember, I think my first live stream I did one of these, and it was a pain and I could not get it working, and it was this whole thing. And but now I do these EC programmings multiple times a week, so it's not really that big of a deal. Usually it only takes me a couple minutes. I could bet my laptop repair on these odds, on those odds. Okay. Okay, there we go. So that seems like it's pretty attached. I'm going to plug in the power, and actually, let me pull up the software. We may have to adjust the wires just a tad. I don't know, but we will see momentarily. All right, I'm going to switch to, I think, is it this view? Yeah. So this is, it doesn't have the chat on it, but at least has the overhead view. Here, I'm going to select our E&E chip, and this has a 9542GF chip, and so I'm just going to search for that in the list here. You could actually select a motherboard, but a lot of times I find that it's harder. If you just select a board that has the same chip, it's easier for me. All right, so I've selected that. Now I'm going to plug in the power, and then I'm going to check for a connection. And we did. We connected to the E&E chip. Perfect. So let me go ahead and just back up their EC contents. First try, baby. 26942. Hold on. So I have to create a folder for their repair to back up their information. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but. All right, so it's reading that information to back it up. The ground wire is right here, this blue one. So there is a 5th wire for ground. I don't ever hook it up, ever. So I always just use this ground here, which I have soldered onto my device. I'll show you in a second. And it seems to work good. All right, so let me select the new, you're not gonna be able to see this either, but I'm gonna select it, XPS. Oh, let's see. All right, so I have the new BIOS loaded in there, or not BIOS, the EC region, which basically took a BIOS from Dell's website, extracted it into all of its contents, and then there was a region that actually was just the EC region, and that's what I'm flashing on there. Okay, so that's going, and then once it writes it to that, it's going to verify and make sure that's good. And then we should be good. We will see. Was this early today? No, it starts every day, every Sunday at 9 a.m. Central. So time change kind of happens around March, April. So sometimes we have a little bit of a schedule difference because with different countries, but 9 a.m. Central time is normal. All right, so that programmed fine. What was going to show you? I was going to show you something. I can't remember. Oh, the ground. That's right. So I have my ground wire just soldered to the top of the USB header right here. And then I just have it clamped on here as an alligator clip. Just an easier workaround for me. All right, so I'm going to take all these off of here. So write a new BIOS. Could the EC... The BIOS is less likely. So basically we have... The EC chip is what's running when you plug in the power. The BIOS isn't running yet. And then when you press the power button, it turns on all these different areas, and then that's what powers on the BIOS, and then starts reading the BIOS. So it won't be the BIOS. A lot of times you can check that too, is seeing if the BIOS has voltage. So if you ever think you have a BIOS issue, check to see if the BIOS has voltage. If the BIOS has voltage, then it could be a BIOS issue. But don't just jump to the conclusion that it's a BIOS issue if you don't have voltage in the BIOS. It means the BIOS isn't even on. Came for the chicken or the EC? Which one is it? I think the sugary soda came first. All right, sip of coffee real quick. All right, you guys think it? You ready? Maybe if you had an other ground, noise would be lower and it would program faster. I don't know. That was pretty fast to me. I don't know. I don't think that was slow. Could you do a video about the full BIOS EC chip reprogramming? I have videos out there. I probably programmed multiples of these over. I have probably 4 videos out there at least with programming these. I mean, it's a repair, but I'm showing you how I do it. All right, so I'm going to plug in the power. We'll see if we get anything different. I went to 0.12, so 120 milliamps as the inrush, but let's see if we open the lid and see if it turns on. You ready? No. Okay. Let's see if the power button works. And it's powering on. It's powering on. What? So we have keyboard backlight. We have an Alienware screen. We are in engineering mode because we flashed the BIOS or the EC chip, and so that cleared that information. It does show that we have the 3070 Ti detected. It goes in the BIOS and everything's working on that. So that was definitely the issue preventing it from coming on, but the cause was probably that spill over there near the DC jack or the battery jack. So we still have to address that. I'm going to go ahead and pull the whole thing apart and actually figure out if we have more damage, and then we'll send it through the ultrasonic cleaner and things like that. But we will need to at least figure out if we can clean this connector. I mean, I can probably plug in the battery and probably work, but we have a picture I cannot believe. I cannot believe. So, Dark Silver, thanks for the new Prime sub. Thank you. So what do you think we should do next? Now, I don't know how much we want to do. We did fix it, right? Now, I want to plug in the battery at some point, but we need to figure out if we want to clean this Mountain Dew. Ooh, the Mountain Dew cheer. If we want to clean it with the ultrasonic cleaner, I'd be more inclined maybe just to clean it with a toothbrush right this second, just so we can test it. Freestone, thanks for that $1 McMahala. Next, see, a lot of people want to go next already too, so that's the other option, is that I can finish all this stuff later on another, tomorrow, and we can move on to another repair. Let's see. So everyone put in next if you want to go next, and then everyone put in clean if you want me to clean. I see next is majority. All right. So I saved another laptop. There you go. So there you go. This one was fixed. And so I will end up cleaning out all of this, getting all these grills cleaned out. This will all be scrubbed. The whole machine will be taken apart. Fans will be cleaned out. PTM 7950 would be put on it. No more liquid metal on this machine. This is what I do for just any of my repairs when they leave. I kind of make it where it's a brand new factory. Then I don't have to worry about it in the future. So that's going to get done regardless. So we are moving on to the next one. We had one person say Sonic Clean. And you can see me do those in other videos. I did a video yesterday that said that. Screw. Oh, gosh. What's screwa? Screwa. Okay. Send it to the works. How'd you know the works? How'd you know that? We call it the works whenever we're going to send it back. Maybe I said that before already. Yeah, so I'm going to send it back and get the works done to it. Yeah, where we take the whole thing apart and do all the PTM and everything. So, yeah, I mentioned the works. Okay. All right, so we are moving on to the Area 51M. This one is a unique unicorn type of animal. It uses 2 chargers, 570 watts of gigawatt power, and they said it was working. It shut off, and I guess let me pull up their note here. There's a little bit of diagnosing they tried doing before they sent it in, but it takes 570 watts. It takes a 330 and a 240 watt charger to run this thing. Some of the lower end ones maybe will run off of 2 180s or a 240 and a 180, but yeah. Daryl, thank you. Epic video yesterday. Yeah, that one was I don't like liquid damage. And so, yes, I'm glad I was able to save that laptop. I can tell you that. I hate wasting my time. All right, so last summer, I was playing a game and it shut off, would not power back on. I was experiencing some intermittent problems powering the system on and off over the last few months. It would hang up and before powering on, and the power button light would blink quickly. I held down the power button, shut it off, power back on. It'd always work. I tried different power bricks. So he basically, and then he also took it apart and then re-thermal paste and stuff like that. So that was Tazzy with 5 more gifted subs. Thank you there, Tazzy. So it looks like Neek, Justin, Triode, and DN and Michael all got themselves a gifted sub over there on Twitch, so you can watch ad-free over on Twitch. Thank you so much for that. So I think that this system is having some sort of other issue. I don't know. These systems are really hard to deal with because we do have those 2 chargers that we have to deal with. So don't forget the screws. Thank you. X15 screws. There we go. And yeah, so anyway, I was saying that these things are hard to diagnose because the charging, having 2 power supplies, it basically has 2 power management chips, and then it has another power management chip that kind of controls the 2 flows of the other 2 power management chips. So it's a different chip than I'm used to, and so I have some in case we need them, but I've just seen so much problems with it. And so sometimes what I can do is I can get like one of the ports to work and then the other one not work anymore. So basically I have to have them run it without the second port. I'll just put tape over it and say, you're not gonna be able to run at full speed. That's what the workaround I've had to do on some of these because they're just so messed up. But we'll see. We don't know what the issue is. So I'll kind of show you the machine before we get going on it. It's a nice looking laptop. It is more of a desktop. It has 2 ports right there. It does use a desktop CPU that's modular, as a modular GPU also. If this is the R2, then it's 10th gen. Yeah, this is a 9th gen because it's a R1. Hey, thanks for the bits. $200. Intro. Let's do the intro. All right. Okay. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved, and this time we have the Alienware Area 51M, the R1 version. This would be like a 2019 laptop with a 9th gen desktop CPU in it. Now this one's a little bit of an odd unicorn. It actually uses 2 chargers, 570 watts that plug into the machine, so it's very complex to power on. Now this thing shut off one day, never came back on. The customer said that they did have issues in the past, but they expected to just be able to hold down the power button and reboot it. It didn't work. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. Whew, try 4. Good flux should arrive there tomorrow. All right. Oh, for me? I need to get some more good flux. Thank you. All right. Nailed it, nailed it. Okay, yeah, that was a little longer than normal, but hopefully that kind of explained what was going on there. And you know, if I ever edit it down into a regular video, then I get to use that intro, which is perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the laptop, try to turn it on, hit the power button. This thing is super clean, great condition. Yeah, 9th gen i7. Like I said, it uses a desktop CPU that mounts in just like a desktop, and that's why it has to have so much power. But it is in beautiful condition, like the person took care of it. Now, power button isn't doing anything. I don't know if it's actually, you know, batteries plugged in or anything. I'm going to plug in one charger here, and 0.02. Open the lid. Nothing. Okay, I'm going to move it to the other port. 0.02. Nothing. Power button. Okay. All right. So on this same machine, we could have an EC chip issue because they're notorious for having an EC chip issue also. So we can get that out of the way. No, it's a 9900K. I think it's a 9900K. I'm not 100% which one it is, but it is a 99. I think it's probably a 9th. It says i7, so it would be a 97 if anything. Reset spike, I just reset them actually, right as I was doing that. So I got that plugged in. Now let me plug in the second charger because you don't know if one charger is going to work. Actually, I need to grab another power meter. Hold on, let me grab one. I need to have 2 power meters running in order to see what I'm doing. So this isn't a spike, this is just a regular one. It just has a pass-through, so I'm going to plug a 330 watt into here, and then I'll be able to see it on the screen. Maybe I'll put it right here so maybe you can still see it. I don't know if this cord will reach. It could be hard to put the camera on it. Let's see, I'll plug this in here. Actually, here, what I'll do is let me reroute some of this stuff. I'm going to move. This is my 240. Oh my gosh, I'm making a mess here. All right, so I'm going to plug my 240 into this one. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And the 330 is going to be plugged into the spike meter. Okay, so we got 570 watts in there. So 330 and 240, whatever it takes. So both of those are plugged in. This one says 0.02. This one says 0.01. And now I'm going to open the lid. Press the power. Nothing happening still. Okay. So we don't know, right? At this point, we don't know exactly what's going on. And at this point, I want to kind of figure out if we have a short on the board, if we have an EC chip programming issue, if we have a power management chip issue. To me, it doesn't look like a power management chip issue because we are pulling some current. I'm just kind of thinking through things before I open it up. We could also try plugging in a charged battery. If the battery's not charged up, try powering it off of that. 5 volt short is a suggestion there. So we do know one thing, it doesn't work. But let's go ahead and open up the bottom and take a look inside. Are these laptops any good? Now, I heard a story from somebody. Oh, I do have a laptop here that I'm going to do a video on it. It's a pretty good story. But basically, the story goes, he bought one of these in 2019 when they came out and had nothing but trouble, or he had a lot of problems with it the first year. And then they ended up replacing it with the R2 version. Dell did. And then the R2 version worked fine for 3 years until it failed. And then they ended up replacing the R2 version with an M18. And then that one had nothing but problems for M18R2, had nothing but problems for the 6 months that he had it, and then they replaced it with the new Area 51M that just came out. So now he has a brand new laptop from buying this in 2019. He had a 5-year warranty, and he just kept getting upgraded. So I don't know. I don't see tons of issues with the R1s or R2s, but maybe the R2s are a little bit better or more stable than the R1s. I don't know. I don't get tons of these in, maybe a few a year, 5 a year, 10 a year, maybe, I don't know. All right, and the bottom is off. But look how beautiful it is. Look how clean it is. 4 sticks of memory, puffy battery is even included. Has a 2.5 inch SSD. Here's an SSD, here's an SSD. And the fans are huge. But does anyone like puffy batteries? We got one right there if you need it. So I'm gonna unplug the battery. Yeah, it's only a 90 watt battery. 90 watt hour. Looks like they use it as a desktop. That's why it's all puffy like that. Now, this thing has a middle frame also, which I hate. So you have this rear cover. Then we have to take this whole plastic middle frame off in order to get to everything. It's okay. It's just the way it is, but sometimes you have to do that. You have to unscrew more stuff just to get somewhere. So I'm going to start unscrewing stuff. We can kind of chat while I get there, and then we can do some measurements. Spicy batteries are the best batteries. It's a spicy pillow. Yeah, we have an entire like bin because we recycle batteries, like we recycle everything, but we have recyclers that take all that stuff for us, and we have to have special bins that are for the spicy batteries that are only for swollen batteries that we have to keep separate. The vents are cool. Let's get that off of there. So there's the rear cover. It's pretty thick. Has some girth to it. It's a girthy baby. All right, I'm gonna have to get the big drill out, the big guns out, take this thing apart. Zip, 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 zip. Let's do it. Let's go. Zombie for 3 months, tier 1. Thank you. You see the recent exploit in BitLocker? I did, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet. But to me, it looks like it's an exploit on a machine. You have to have access to the physical machine. And you have to, the key has to be still stored in the machine that you're in, that's on. So those are the two things that seems to be happening. So to me, it sounds like you have a laptop that boots, and it has the BitLocker key stored in the BIOS. And then you can boot into recovery, which recovery normally would block it and ask for a BitLocker key. but because they have an exploit, they're able to bypass and drop into a command shell, and then once you get that, then you can have access to the files, and that's how you can access the files, but you still need a machine that has the key. So it's not an exploit of having no key. I mean, like if you lost your key, that's the key that I want, or the exploit that I need, because that's the hard part. It's helping people get their data off of their drives once they lost their key. Okay, let me get this spicy pillow out of here. So you can hear it. I have an actual, what do you call it? There's a ratcheting system. When I unscrew it, it goes like a hammer drill type of setup. It doesn't do it the other way. Whenever I am screwing in, it actually will stop at a certain tension, and I can set that tension right here. And these drills are old, but they're good. They're good. And it does sound like a little bit of a dentistry action going on. Okay. Oh, clutch, thank you. Yeah, my brain is really malfunctioning. I can feel it. I'm sorry about that. And I'm about to go check on the AC again because I think I have it turned off long enough for it to reset itself. And I can feel a drip of sweat coming down here. I'm going to remember the long drive goes here, the short drive goes here. I didn't mark them. I usually number them or put little dots on them. Let me check on the AC real quick. I'll be right back. Torque setting. Torque setting. That was the other word that I was looking for. You guys are good at finishing my sentence. You guys know what I'm thinking. Man, it's hot. That spicy meatball is making me hot. Okay, so I just turned down the AC again. I turned it back up for a little bit just to see if it would thaw itself if it's frozen. I have no idea. Okay. I have a green drink in the refrigerator. Maybe I'll go green drinking it too. So I have to pull all this off just to get to the middle frame off so then I can access the board to even do any measurements. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay? It's like an impact gun. I've been watching you long enough, LOL. That's right. You know me so well. Okay. It's hot and cold. The hot and cold will get you. And there's always secret screws on this machine too. So where's the secret screw up today? Is this one? We're almost there. 2 days later. Yeah. I'm trying to go fast. I hate watching people unscrew things. That's why I don't understand when people put unscrewing segments in their videos, because I'm like, I don't need to watch that. I just want to skip it. I'll cut all of that stuff out. All right. And the middle frame is off after 1,000 screws. So yeah, here's our bowl now, pretty full, just to get down to this. So here's where the heatsink is. This is going to be the CPU. It has an actual desktop CPU, 4 sticks of DDR4 RAM. And then this is a modular GPU. I think it's a 20 series, so this might be a 2080 or something like that. And is that drive still attached? So all the power management stuff or all the power rail stuff is right underneath this. So the only way to access that is to take off the heatsink also. So we get to do that. And I've seen people put liquid metal on this machine and it leaks everywhere because there's no dam and there's no way to put a dam on here. So I think his note said he repasted it, and he might have put a little too much on it and he cleaned it up. But that was after the fact. All right, fans. All right, here we go. So I'm going to be careful getting this off. We don't want to break anything. Of course, there's more screws. It's all for science. That's right. All right, it came off very easy. Normally, a heatsink should be like really stuck to the CPU and GPU. It just lifted right up, and it is off of there. So it looks, I mean, there's definitely thermal paste on here. It's very minimal though. I mean, I would put just a little bit more on there if I was going to do it. I mean, it probably would work fine, but it probably needs a little bit more. But I guess he said originally it overflowed. So, but the heatsink looks like it's in good condition. So here's our power circuitry that I wanted to get to. One DC jack plugs in on one side of the board, and the other DC jack plugs in on the other side of the board. So we have a couple MOSFETs here, a power management chip here. On the other side of the board, we have a power management chip and a couple MOSFETs. Or actually, I guess here's a power management chip. So there's 2 power management chips here, one for each DC jack. Hooray! Ugh, don't like it. But what I want to check is I want to see if we're having an EC chip issue just like the other one. We also have a CMOS battery in this, so we can run a CMOS reset right here. So we might just do that while we're thinking about it, because we could have a dead CMOS battery, for all I know. 64 gigs of RAM. Is that, was it 8 gigs each? 16 gigs each. So yeah, we're at 64. Yeah, that would math out better than 8 gigs, wouldn't it? So CMOS battery's unplugged. So we could have a CMOS reset situation, and that would be nice. So I'm just going to keep this heatsink off of here. I'm going to plug in the power. And we'll go thermal. That way we can see if the CPU's turning on and cooking itself. I'll go as high as I can here. All right, CPU, GPU. I'm going to open the lid. And I'll turn on spike here. I'm going to try to hit the power button if I can get to it. All right, just press the power button, and we got nothing. And I don't see anything heating up here. Most of these things that you're seeing is reflections. That's why I'm just going to move around here. What year is this? A 2019 model with a 9th gen 9700K or something like that. We can actually look at what CPU it is exactly now that we have this off. So to me right now, I don't know what's up. I don't know what's wrong, man. Haven't figured out yet, but we haven't measured anything yet. Let's just see what CPU we have. '97. See it say 97 right there. Don't know if it's a K or, yeah, it's a K. Can you see it? Can you make it out? There you go. 9700K. So integrated graphics, 9th gen i7. There you go. DDR4. DDR4. 1.2 volt. DDR4, 2400 megahertz. All right, so what I think I want to check now that CMOS reset didn't happen, let's check and see if we have an EC programming issue. We have programming headers here, and if we have power on our programming headers, then it might just be an EC chip issue, which is funny because we just did that. What if they're all EC chip issues, man? What if we're having EC chip Sunday? So here's our programming headers for this machine. And this has a totally different EC chip than the other ones. We do have, these are kind of sealed up here. I might need a solder. We might be able to poke through it. All right, I'm going to plug it in. We're going to measure. Voltage, go. Do we have 3.3? We do. 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 So the fact that we have 3.3 on all of those programming headers means that I think it's an EC chip issue. It's an EC Pizza Sunday. That's good. EC Pizza Sunday. All right, so let's grab our EC programmer out again. Here we go. Since we have it, oh, I have it right here. I don't even have to go very far. Well, that's convenient. It would be crazy if we're doing all 3 EC programming. I don't know. Would you guys be impressed or not impressed? That would be the question. Would it be like, well, that was a waste of a stream? I replaced another EC chip. EC, PC, whatever. Embedded cheese. Yeah, I like the EC pizza. It's an EC pizza. It's a pretty good one. That could be a shirt, but that's like so inside joking that nobody even knows what that means. All right, let me get my cheat sheet for this one. So this was for the other one. It should be probably the same layout, but I have a different cheat sheet. I have tons of the cheat sheets here. See if I can find it. I think it might be, actually, I bet that one actually will work. I don't know, maybe I don't have one separate here for this one. Ah, here it is, found it. Okay, are you saying there's a chance for my laptop? Yes, I'm saying that. If we can get through them all, we might be able to get to your laptop. Depending, yeah, we're only an hour and 18 minutes in. I could get this one going. Boom. So here's our programming here. You guys want to take a screenshot if you need it. These are just the colors of my wires, so you can ignore that. But CS, CLK, DI, DO. So it's opposite. The last one was like that direction. So it's this one, okay? I believe. Yeah, I think it's going to go that way, across here. So we're gonna. How did I bowl this week? I bowled like really bad. Last Monday, I bowled really bad. I shot like 524 or something crazy. I had a, let's see, 185 or something like that, and then I had a 214, but then I had a 131. 131. It was weird. It was like there was this one lane that kept having issues for everybody, and then I don't know. No excuses. No excuses. Oh, my back was hurting. That's what it was. There's the excuse. The week before, I had 12 10 pins, and I picked up 11 of them, so I was pretty happy with that. 12 10 pins. All right, so I'm going to pre-10 these because otherwise our spider doesn't want to attach to them very well or not get a good signal. And so I'm just pre-10ing those. Those are only signals we're going to use, those 4. And so whoever wanted to get some EC programming stuff under their belt, we're doing 2 of them in one stream so far. There we go. Just clean that up. My daily driver laptop is a Toshiba. Old Toshiba, huh? Don't forget to hook up the ground this time. Okay, I have the ground hooked up already. I did that like right off the bat, because I don't want to forget. Okay, I can turn off this thing right here. The octopus is stupid. One-handed. I'm a one-handed bowler. And I do know how to do the two-handed bowling, because I was experimenting with that a little while ago just to mess around with it. I can also bowl left-handed too, or offhand, pretty well. But I'm better just one-handed. I do pretty good amount of revs on it with one-handed. I usually throw a swing shot, throw it outside, have it come back in. And then I can move around the lane pretty good, so if it ends up having a dry spot, I can play inside shot, I can play down and in shot, play a 40 board if I need to. I can loft it. And a lot of people don't know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. All right, so I'm just getting these just kind of lined up quickly. These pads are so much bigger, so I can just kind of set them in place quickly, easily, fastly. This is extremely common, apparently. No, it's only on certain chipsets or EC chips. So I don't know, because there's the 9542 GF chips that are on a bunch of these Alienwares, and all of those have issues. So that's a horrible, horrible chip. This is a 9542 something. 9542Q. It's the big one. It's the big E&E chip. It's not the smaller one. It's not the BGA. It's a QFM, but I can't remember what the chip number is on it. But anyway. All right, so we're going to pull up our menu again and go back to that other view here. Good thing I already have it pulled up. All right, EC programming. Plug in my programmer. Okay. All right, so this one I'm going to actually select the board number because I cannot remember what the programming, what the chip is. Unless, what's the board on this one? God, I don't even know what the board is. Let me grab one of these boards. So now I'm remembering now, the R1 actually has 4 memory slots and the R2 only has 2 memory slots. So they downgraded down to less memory slots. So here's the R1 board. Let me switch to this view here. I don't know what's delayed when I'm switching here. So here's the R1 board, has 4 memory slots. Here's the R2 board. They look the same layout, same setup, has the same CPU slot, and they're both a DDR4. I don't know exactly why they did that. So we're going to be programming this one, and then the EC chip is this big E&E chip here. And so I'm just going to go by the board print number here. So this is an 881P, a G881P. So let me go back over here. And that board's already in the list, so I'm going to select that board. We're going to select soldering because that's what we're kind of doing. And then I need to plug in the board. All right, it's plugged in. We check for connection. We were connected to it successfully, and we're on our way. All right, so let me get this stuff out of the way. I needed to create a folder to back up their customers' information again. This one is 27. And I just hit 27,000 repair tickets. 27,000. Area 51. 51M. R1. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save that there. So not anymore. Let's see. What are you guys chatting about over there? But the R2 will run 11th gen. Oh, it might. Because it's made for a 10th gen, but do you think you can put 11th in there? That'd be kind of cool. All right, so I backed that up. I'm going to go ahead and write a new one to it. Now, I can't remember if I have to edit this or not. Let me see if I have one that's already made. Because I can't remember if I need to shrink down the EC chip. No, I might be okay. I might be able to just write it on there. Because sometimes the file size needs to be edited a little bit. So R1 extracted. Okay. All right, so I'm writing on the one that I have in here. Hopefully this is it's going to work. 24,000, wait, 26,400 of those were for EC chip replacements. That's funny. Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. 47,000 repairs, that's quite something. Yes, it is a lot. 27,000. Yeah, so I'm at 27,000 repairs. I don't know if I misspoke, but yeah, 27,000 repairs. But that's in I started in 2002, so 24 years ago. And then I didn't even start actually making the ticketing system until 2005, I believe, or 2006. So that's since 2006, actually, for these ticketing systems that I'm using. So prior to that, it was all on hand pieces of paper. People had to print out, and they would handwrite it. Okay, so that's written to the file there, or to the chip, and so we will see now. Okay, so I'm going to unplug the power. I'm going to unplug the power here. Unplug the power here. All right, so do you think this is it? I was 7 in 2002. 7 years old. Long time in business, I know. I started when I was 21 years old. 21, and now I'm 45, so more than half my life I've been doing this. So, who knows? Who knows, man? Will this be an EC pizza? It'll be nice. We need an Easy Pizza button. I was still 2 in 2002. It was 27,000 of your repairs or your entire company. Oh, entire company. Yeah. Yeah, board repairs. I only started doing board repairs like this probably 2.5 years ago or something. So I was 45 in 2002. Got some olders. All right, so you guys think it's going to work? Should I put the heatsink on, or should I put it on under the thermal camera and see it start cooking? I might put the heatsink on. I think it's going to power on. So I'll put some heatsink compound on here. And one of these pads fell off. I need to replace that. I think it goes here. Okay. I'm confident, people. I'm confident. Being your own boss is nice, except you're responsible for a lot of people. So that's the issue. Got 18 employees at this point. I did get up to 20-something employees at one point, and then we scaled back. Excuse me. But you are responsible for at least 18 people's livelihoods, right? Not to mention your own families and keeping good customer relations and, you know, all that stuff. So it's a lot of work. So there are good things and bad things. But yeah, I haven't had to work for somebody since I was 20, basically. Same pong from the video ping pong, video pinball. Got the channel by chance watching a short, and it was cool and clear. The guy behind the scene knew what he was doing. That's me. New day, new laptop to repair. And what do we have here? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's me just doing my announcer voice. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in. We're going to try to see if we can power this thing on. I'll leave the CMOS battery unplugged. If you guys think we're going to get picture, put a 1 in chat. If you think we're not going to get picture, put a 2 in chat. Come on, let's see it. 1 in chat for a win, 2 in chat for a lose. All right, I'm plugging in both chargers. I'm going for it. All right, we have both chargers plugged in. Gonna open the lid. We got 0 power being pulled. Press the power button. I saw the keyboard backlight for a second. Keyboard backlight! It's powering on. Now, you're not seeing any current coming out of this charger because I have 2 chargers plugged in. And it will actually pull from the one that it wants, and this one's the one that it wants to pull from. So here's the other charger that's up there. So we'll just put this one in this corner. And we can actually boot up into Windows, and I can show you how this works here. But we're gonna have, this is the startup phase for this thing turning on. And then if we run a stress test, you'll actually see it where it overflows into the other one. So we'll start pulling on this one, and then we'll overflow and start pulling into that one. But we do have keyboard backlight right now. I'm waiting for a picture. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Okay, turn back off, because we unplugged the CMOS battery, so it's going through a CMOS reset. So fan spun up. So it's only pulling 60 watts right now while it's going through that little CMOS reset, because it doesn't need to pull much more. And so we have 570 watts plugged into this laptop right now. $570 watts. I think it was option 3 all along. Well, we still haven't gotten picture. EC equals R squared, R1 squared. We haven't posted yet. Come on, baby. Are we calling this picture? I haven't given up yet. They're broken plastic on the connector. I don't know. We'll have to see that. I didn't plug the CMOS back in. It doesn't need the CMOS plugged in to turn on. Still going through a cycle. Turned back off again. Okay, we got up to 80 watts that time. Wow, it's really turning on and off now. Is the memory plug? Did we take the memory out? No, I don't think we did take the memory out. Yeah, it's really going through a kind of a cycle over and over again here, isn't it? Okay, people. Well, did someone do option 3? Because option 3 is it's turning on, but we're not getting picture because I didn't plug in the monitor or something. No, it actually booted in the diagnostics. I can hear it, and that's why it looked like it was doing stuff, because it was actually running up fans and doing all different, testing all the fans, and it was actually doing a test, but the screen's not plugged in. So option 3, anybody? Option 3. So we didn't get picture, but the machine did turn on. I swear I plugged in the monitor. I did. The LCD screen is plugged in. I didn't plug in the second cable here, so maybe it needs that. I thought that was just for the camera. All right, so we have it plugged in there. Hey, that's the same sound that my laptop makes. That's because your screen is messed up. I actually checked your screen, by the way. So your screen is bad. So if you hold it in different angles, it actually will go away. So you do need to replace your screen, by the way. Sorry, I'm going to plug this back in. We'll see if that fixes it. The LCD connector is bad. It's plugged into the graphics card, so hopefully it's not the LCD connector. Here, I'm actually just going to run it off of Spike so we can see it. So I'm going to unplug that. Oh wait, that port doesn't work, does it? Interesting. Let me unplug this. Is that port working? Okay, yeah. So I only have one charger plugged in now because we only need one charger. I just wanted to have it where we had 2 chargers plugged in. And the fan made some noise because I had something in it. All right, so hopefully it's going to get picture now. Okay, all right. But hopefully LCD connector is not messed up because it is attached to the graphics card. But, you know. Wi-Fi card isn't plugged in. Oh, we took out the Wi-Fi card. That's what the issue is. I figured it out. I figured it out. All right, let's see if this is going to work here. Plug the CMOS battery back in. Everyone loves a CMOS battery. I will plug it back in, I promise. Soren tried earlier today to display a multimeter like yours with history using it at Mega 328. So did he use, but what was it, like from his power supply or what? Oh, he wanted to have the graph or whatever, the actual chart? Because it is definitely useful to see that. Coffee or green juice? This is coffee, but I do have a green juice in the fridge. I may go grab it because that gives me a little bit of boost. Dilithium crystals. That's a Star Trek quote. Add converter. Is this still not working? Can't tell if that's turning on or not. I don't think it's posted yet. And we have picture. I can't believe. All right. I saved another laptop. All right, so this was just an EC programming issue. And so I guess I needed both of those LCD connectors plugged in order to get picture. Right now it's telling me that we have an underpowered machine because I only have one of the chargers plugged in. I'm going to add the other charger. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on and see if we can get past that without having the error saying that we have an underpowered charger. We have the Alienware screen. It's in manufacturing mode. I'm going to take it out. Let me reboot that. Because we flashed the EC chip, it actually puts it back in the manufacturing mode or engineering mode. Let's see if we can get that cleared. 2 chargers, yes. This is a machine that uses desktop CPU and it needs 570 watts, so it uses a 330 watt and a 240 watt charger in order to get maximum performance. It's basically a mobile desktop. And there you go. Brand new shorts 100% of the time. All right, so it is running that. Let's boot into his Windows real quick. And you can see my charger now is no longer pulling any current up here, but this one is the one that's actually pulling the current. So we have both chargers plugged in. Just for science, sorry about that. Just for science, we're gonna go ahead and boot to a Windows install. Actually, we'll just use my Windows install because then I don't have to make sure we have passwords or personal information we can hide. And I just want to show you how the two chargers kind of like throttle or wait, load balance. There you go. Load balance is the word I was looking for. Let's see, can I hook that here? It's kind of, excuse me, it's kind of interesting how it does it. Do I have a screw hole? And this is just going to be a little science detour, and then we're going to move on to the next computer. CMOS battery you want plugged back in? I know you do. I know you do. Puffy, spicy battery, we're going to have to bypass that. We're not going to worry about the bypass. I already put thermal paste on here, or I added thermal paste, and I will do a reapply, probably put some PTM on here. We'll do the works. We'll do the works on this thing. All right, so let's boot up to my test OS. Test OS. The battery connector touching the RAM chip. Battery connector. Oh, that's a SSD, but I'll move that out of the way. Yeah, that's the SSD wire for the 2.5 inch, but thank you. I'll move it out of the way. The Wi-Fi card's hanging over here off to the side. A Area 51 R2 I worked on had a 10700K with a 330 watt and a 180 watt. Yeah, so but we've had a couple come in now that had like two 180s, and that's what it was shipped with. So I don't know. SATA hot plug? Are you sure? Hope not. I don't know. Why is it CMOS resetting again? We didn't unplug the power, did we? I just shut the lid, turned it off. I like the hot plug things. No, when I know the machine's off, I don't worry about plugging things in or unplugging things because I know it's off. But if you're one of the people who think it's off by just shutting the lid or putting it in hibernation or sleep, S4, S3, whatever it takes, that's when you end up messing up stuff. Test OS, Pest OS. This is giving me my test OS with the Alien Crash site. Actually, I got 5 more of those sent to me. I want to show you all this. Those are pretty cool. I don't know why this is taking so long to post again. Did we lose the picture? Oh, there we go. I don't know. Whatever. Done there. There we go. All right, it's booting into my test OS. Let's see if it's going to be a inaccessible boot device or if it's going to say setting up components. So S3 is when the lid's closed. I can never remember if it's S3 or S4. I don't know. That's why I just be like S3, S4. Just name them all. All right, looks like it's setting up components. There we go. Forgot to remove the cable. What cable did I remove? I moved all the stuff out of the way. Blanche is a little shy. Blanche is my Windows 10 install, and I do that on older machines. And then this is the Windows 11 Alien install. Nate, you repaired any laptop that pissed you off so much? What, like the one yesterday? I did one. What the thing is that you're saying pissed me off because if I end up fixing it, then I'm not as pissed off at the end. But the ones that make me so mad is the ones I don't fix and I spend so much time on. So I would say 2 weeks ago, the video I posted where I didn't end up fixing it, and I must have spent, I don't even know how many hours on that thing. Anyone hear about the new Pro Max catching on fire? Hoax or real? I did not hear about that. I would have to look at that up. That's so annoying. S3 is the save to RAM state. Okay. That's the one where people are like, I'm going to update my RAM or upgrade my RAM with it on, or with it when it's in sleep still. This thing is still booting up here. So there's a setup here. So I have these lights everywhere, the multiple power meters and all my gauges and stuff like that, and then all these chats. Okay, so Alien Crash Site, we have arrived, and it's booting up in here. Okay, now you can see this charger is actually pulling a little bit of current. Just a little bit, all right? It's jumping around 40 watts, things like that. Let me see if I can put this meter up here so we can see it at the same time. How can we do this? Do I have to hold it right here? Okay. So this is going to be the 240 watt. This is a 330 watt over here. And let me make sure we have our GPU installed. So 570 gigawatts are in this thing right now. And we have a 2070 installed, not even a 2070 Super, just a 2070. You guys can barely see it, I'm sure, right here. But I'm going to open FurMark. Okay. All right, so keep an eye. So we're sitting right around 128 watts, moving back and forth. The machine does not have a battery in it, so we're not pulling any current from the battery. 32 watts. Wow, it keeps kind of moving around. Ready? So now we're pulling 160, 170 from here, and barely pulling anything from this other charger, which is a 330 watt. Again, with the battery plugged in, it would be charging the battery at the same time, so that's using some current. So now we're going to turn on Prime 95, which is going to max out the i7 that's on it. Or actually, let me stop the FurMark real quick. Because I want to experiment to see if one port is primarily used for the CPU and one's for the other one, for the GPU, or if it's more a mix here. So this is going to be the CPU turned on now. So now we're at 180 watts on the CPU, only out of this charger, and a little bit out of that one. So now we're going to start FurMark up. You ready? Boom. So now we're pulling 180 out of one, and it's maxing it at 180, which is funny because I have a 240 there, and this is a 330 watt, and it's only pulling 125, 130 watts out of that. We're at 115 frames per second on our 2070, and let's see if all the cores are maxed out on here for science. So all the cores are staying maxed out on the CPU perfectly. So that's how that works. So this machine probably doesn't need 570 watts. This one probably was shipped with a 240 and a 180, I bet. What do you think? I'm going to stop all this here. Actually, let me see what the temps we're getting up to on the CPU. I just want to see if the thermal paste I put on there was working. I'm going to start Prime 95 back up again. Come on. Okay. Oh yeah, so CPU is hitting 100 for the most part. Yeah. So definitely needs a repaste. Probably PTM 7950 will fix that up. So we'll stop that. Because that was just me just adding some fresh thermal paste to what was already there. All right, so this one's all good. I mean, we'll finish it up later. Okay. I only use the 330 on the Area 51, and you can use just one 330 out of one port, and it would probably work. I mean, I guess we can do that since we have a 330. Here's our 330, so I'll unplug this one. So now it's only pulling out of that one, and so now we're running out of one 330. This is all science, I know. So now we're starting FurMark off. So 130 watts, and then start Prime 95 up at the same time. See what we get up to. 260. So even with the 330, it's not even, or 280. That's about as much as it's getting up to. And so I'm running off of one charger. One 330 watt charger. But the load balancing seems like a good idea to me. Just run two 180s. All right, let me show you these things real quick. So here's this. If you guys like this, we posted this over on the Discord. Now, I got 5 more of these sent to me. Let me pull them up and show them to you. They're pretty cool looking before I forget. You have to go with the 180. 180. Now, and I asked to get permission to see if we could post this or not on the Discord. I'm waiting to hear back, so I don't know if I can post these on the Discord, but I'm just going to show them to you because they're pretty cool looking. So here's the first one. Actually, I want to see your chat here. I guess you can do it. All right, what do y'all think of that one? That was pretty cool, huh? All right, and the next one, wrong way. Hold on, let me go the other way. Darn it. You got a little bit of sad crash over here. This one right here. He's pretty upset. He's pretty upset. Oh. All right, this one right here. So same guy, it looks like he just kind of moved his ship around. So it must have been on the crash cycle here. And then the same guy again. Looks like he's in the same area here. Just a different scene. And then that almost looks like the first one. Is that right? Oh, it's closer. I think I like this one better. Well, I don't know. They're both the same. Anyway, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I think, let's see. Who was the one who sent me that? Michael. Oh, he said go ahead. So Michael sent those over. He said I can go ahead and share those on Discord. So I'll go ahead and get those put over on Discord and shared so anybody can download those. All right? And exclamation point Discord. Oh, and I did add our rules there. Any of the mods, if you type exclamation point rules, it actually will write in rules into the chat for you, so you don't have to handwrite that ever. That was something was requested last week, so y'all can go ahead and test that. See if it worked. Did it not work? Oh, it didn't work. What the what? Man. I didn't test it, per se. I just did the code and was like, okay, that should be good. All right, let me go over here and look at it. Make sure it's in there. Commands, actions, rules, test trigger. Okay, so that my test trigger worked. So I guess it just didn't like your rules. Commands. Very delayed. Well, I wrote it. I actually sent the command to actually put it in there, so it wasn't actually you that triggered it. So I don't know why it didn't work for you. Admins versus non-admins. I have it set up where there's no. It's not an admins thing. Let me hold on. Here, I'll show you. I'm in StreamerBot. I don't know if you guys have ever used StreamerBot. So I'm using rules. Rules is the command. Enable permissions. Allow. Grant. And I think if I leave these here, then it should be anybody can do it. Case sensitive, persist, user count, ignored turtle messages. I think, no groups. Like the Discord one works for everyone, so this is what I was trying to match here. So Discord, allow to all. So that looks the same, right? As the or am I missing something? Rules. I don't see anything different. Allowed. Okay, so we got allowed. Let me go back to Discord and see what that one is. Good. Allowed. Start Discord group. And then I know, like the bell message, I have it set up where it has to be moderators. So I mean, I can set up where it's only moderators, which is fine. I bet that will work. Let's do that. Just see if, so if I send that over there, save it. Now see if a moderator can do it. So Discord works. What about rules? Try. Did you just try again? Enable and re-enable again. Okay. Rules still isn't working. Weird. Oh man. Okay, StreamerBot sometimes is funky. It has issues. Okay, let's go back. Let me look at the actions here. Rules. So the trigger's here. So I'm triggering rules. Okay, and then I'm writing in this broadcast to all, to Twitch and that. And it worked for me when I did a test trigger. So if I run a test trigger right now, you'll see it show up there. See, there it is. Okay. If I go back over to the actions, poll, not poll, rules. All right, so let me turn this off. So let me just do what he was saying here. I'm going to disable it and re-enable it. Oh, is that? Yeah, enable, reset. Okay, see if it works now. You have a broken streamer. What? Nope, rule still isn't working. Okay, I don't know. I'll have to mess with that. Let's move on though. Wait, it worked. Wait, so how did it come through one person? Huh. I don't know. It seemed it worked once. Nope. Okay, I'll deal with it later. Works only for mods. Okay, well, we'll deal with that later. I don't want to sit there and just pound the pavement on that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and shut this down. So right now we have 2 for 2, right? So we're 2 for 2, but we're also 2 for 2 for EC programming errors on the machine. So the third one's a no power also. Do you think that one will be an EC Pizza Sunday? EC Pizza. EC Pizza. All right, so let me get this put away. We need to tuck all those screws away because we have thousands and thousands of screws, a plethora of screws, I would say. We'll just grab a new screw bin instead. There we go. I don't need this other power box. Okay, the last one is a what? G series. The last one's a G series. And I believe this one seems more of a something we're soldering on. I like how people are like spelling rules in all the different crazy ways and seeing if that works, seeing if that triggers it. Take out your OS. Oh, good point. Yeah, I'll remember that later, I'm sure, tomorrow. All right, so we have a new poll up there that says, is the third one going to be an EC issue also? So if you want to wait to vote after I read this message, then you might be able to get a little bit more information about it. All right, so I was using it. Then it shut off and never came back on. I removed the hard drive and needed the data from it, so there's currently no SSD inside. I tried disconnecting the battery, holding on to power for 60 seconds, then plugging it back in, still no power. I don't know. I don't know. Could be. Could be. We could have an EC chip issue. Could be a 3 for 3. EC Pizza. EC Pizza. So it looks like 50-50 chance on there. So here's our G series. This is a G5530. Is that what it was? G16 5530. So the gaming edition. Yep. And so this kind of has an Alienware board in it, kind of. They were actually Alienware boards for a while, but this one's more of its own. It's also the same as the G16 7630. Those are the same machines, just one has a 16-inch screen, one has a 15-inch screen, so same motherboard though. So I already see people screaming cap. It's a capacitor. It sounds like a short. Let's not make a rule. Let's make a rule for that. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get going on this one. Let's do it. All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved, and this time we have a G15 5530. Now this one was just working just fine, shut off, never came back on. The customer opened it up to pull his SSD out. He even did a CMOS reset, held down the power button for 60 seconds, but he has no signs of life at all when you press the power button. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. All right, there you go. First thing I want to do is see if it turns on. Open the lid, press the power button. Nothing's happening here. let me go ahead and reset our power meter so we have a good baseline for our current meter. And when we plug in the power, we want to see if we have an inrush of current or not. So 3, 2, 1, plug it in. And it stayed at 0. I mean, it did jump up on the actual chart there, but you can see that it's actually staying at 0 baseline. Now we want this to kind of, ooh, now it's almost going to 10 milliamps. But we'd rather set it 20 milliamps. That's what we want. But I'm going to open and close the lid, see if it triggers the Hall effect sensor. It's not doing that. I'm going to press the power button, see if it does anything. So we are getting no signs of life. Now this is less likely to be an EC chip issue. I know that we wanted it to be because it's an EC pizza, but it probably seems more of a short on the board when we have it staying at 0 amps being pulled, because that usually means that the power management chip is detecting some sort of short on the board, shutting off the inrush or the input protection MOSFETs to protect the board. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a look inside. Do you think it's liquid damage on the Wi-Fi card? You're going straight to the Wi-Fi card again? Open MOSFETs. That's what it seems like to me, but they're open for a reason. I goated that intro. Goated. Dust on the screen, that's the cause. Not. You're telling me if in Amazon Prime I can sub for free once per month and I can link to my Amazon Twitch account? Yeah, so Amazon owns Twitch, and so if you have Amazon Prime, then when you're on Twitch, you log in with your Amazon account usually, I think, or you attach it to your Amazon, and then yeah, you could support one channel a month for free, and it gives the money to the actual streamer. So anybody who goes to Twitch right now, uses their Prime account to subscribe, you'll get no commercials for one thing, and it will give me like $5 a month basically. So it's a way to give $5 to me. And looks like a hype train has started. So a hype train on Twitch is, we got a bunch of stuff coming in. Gifted subs are coming in. Oh my goodness. Razar, you got Lord and Linus and Bogas and Duck and Sonar. All just got gifted free subs. Thank you so much. Hype train level 2. Let's see if we can get to level 5. I think it's the highest I've ever gotten. Level 5 would be nice. So let's see. All right, and the bottom is off. We'll take a quick look around. So we have the main battery. It does look like an OEM battery. We have the serial number here. Looks very clean. It does have 2 SSD areas, but they aren't populated. These are just the heat sinks. DDR5 memory. It looks like 16 gigs of DDR5. The fans are pretty clean. Maybe he cleaned them. I don't know. Wi-Fi card is still here, and it looks fine though, but it doesn't have the bracket that holds the Wi-Fi antenna. So that's kind of interesting to me. Twitch gifties, thank you so much for all those Twitch gifts. All right, so what we want to do is I'm going to unplug the main battery first. We want to take that out of the picture, and that way when we're messing around with it, you know, we can play safe. Kids play safe. So unplug the battery. So we're going to plug in the charger. We want to measure in this area if we can. And no Wi-Fi, no problems. So we want to measure in this area. We want to see where the voltage is going, where it's not going, right? So let me pull off this sticker here so we can see underneath it. Pull that back. Now, I don't know how much of the stuff is on this side of the board, per se. I think it's all on the other side of the board. Yeah, I think so. We'll be able to measure some stuff, but I think most of the stuff's on the other side of the board anyway. But let's get on the microscope and take a closer look. All right, so we have, what do we have here? What do we have here? All right, so let me plug in the charger. I want to see what voltage we're getting to the jack here. And then we can kind of use that as our baseline. So I believe this is probably ground, and this is going to be positive. Yeah, so 19.8 is coming here. You see all these little pads here? This is going to be all vias that are passing the current or the voltage straight through to the other side of the board. So all of our circuitry is on the other side of the board, okay? That is annoying because there's not much we can measure on this side. I do see a current sense resistor here, but I see the battery here, and I see a big charge coil. So this is going to be our charging circuit. So most likely we won't have anything here, but we can measure to see if we have any residual voltage on this. Because sometimes if you have a short, then this will be sitting at 0. And if you don't have a short, you'll have this sitting at like 0.2 or, you know, not 0, right? Under a volt. And that will usually indicate that there's not a short on the main power rail, but I am seeing that. Okay, and this may be a 3 volt, 5 volt setup here. Those are kind of small MOSFETs for a 3 volt, 5 volt, but We see one chip here, we see a pair of MOSFETs here, a pair of MOSFETs here. This would be our probably a main power rail energizing these MOSFETs, and then I bet the coil outputs are on the other side of the board here. So I would suspect this should be 20 volts right here, but it's not. So I'm not seeing any voltage on the main power rail, if that's it. So I'm going to unplug the charger. We're going to put it in continuity mode. So now we can actually test to see if we have a short. And so I'm going to put one side on ground, and we're going to test here. We do have a short. And depending upon how low this short is, that tells us kind of what type of component is shorted. And I think if someone said capacitor earlier, I think they're right on point. So we're measuring 0.15 of a short. Now, if we compare that to like just measuring ground itself, ground itself is right around 0.12, okay, 0.11, and our short is measuring 0.15. So to me, it seems like we have almost a dead short. It's taking our main power rail, which is 20 volts that comes in, and that's what powers everything on the board. It's taking that and shorting it straight to ground. So PQ501 MOSFET is cooked. What? What? Oh, it is. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. My focus is all messed up, but that does look. What's going on there? What is on top of that? Huh. What is this? Just a copper coil flake. This is sticky from the film that we just peeled off of here. So this is sticky film that goes over that. So that's stickiness, but I don't know what that flake is there. That's interesting. I'm going to take it off. It's just sitting on top. All right, let me clean this off and see if it looks any better or worse. But you may be onto something. Now this is a high side MOSFET because we have the 20 volts is going to come over here. It's going to energize this area, and it's going to come through here, and it's going to tap off the center of this. So this is going to produce 3 volts or 5 volts. Most likely that's a 3 volt, 5 volt power rail. So this is going to produce 3 volts, and this will do 5 volts or vice versa. But if this is shorted, in order for us to have a 0 ohm short, we would have to have this one shorted too. So it would short all the way through. Is kind of what would have to happen in order for us to have a high side, low side short like that. But we can measure that. We might get false readings here, but let's just see if this one's shorted across. So it's not shorted, and this one's not shorted. So I don't think it's going to be this. I think it's a resistor somewhere. I mean a capacitor somewhere that's cracked and shorted. So those all look okay. All right. Ground control to Major Nate 1. All right, so I'm gonna have to pull the board out, unfortunately, guys. So it's time to turn some screws because, or we can inject voltage. I think we can inject voltage. So sometimes I'm like, no, we have to pull the board out before we inject voltage, and that's only whenever we have some sort of resistance that's higher than 0.3, I guess, 0.3 and above, because then that could be GPU, and if it's at 1 or 2 ohms for sure, we don't want to inject voltage because we're not gonna be able to see what's getting hot. But at almost 0, we can inject voltage, and we may get lucky, we might see it on the side. We may get lucky, we might see it on the side. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's get that set up. Use voltage injection. Let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna pull out my voltage injection tool, which is the short killer. Short killer! Put them right here in front of this camera, and then we will go thermal. Going thermal now. And let's see if we can get to that view for you. God, I can't talk. RAM. Yeah, let me take out the RAM. Good point. I don't want to inject any things into the RAM. All right, so I took out the DDR5 RAMs. It says gold. It's gold, I tell you, gold. All right, I'm going to get as high as possible. So we're using the FLIR 1 Pro. This is going to be a camera that has 2 lenses on it. One's an infrared lens and one's a regular camera lens, and it superimposes the actual feedback on top. I like it because it's easier to see, but I don't like it because it has a lot of reflections and it's not as sensitive. So if we don't see anything on this one, then we can switch over to our Thermal Master P2 Pro, and that one works good too. I just keep them both set up. All right, so we are close to 0, so we can go down to like 0.8. And there's a lot of reflections on that. Let's see. Is that better? There we go. I don't know why it was reflecting so much. All right, so 0.8 is what we're going to start with. I need to find a good ground. Got a good ground. And I'm going to inject right there where we're measuring on those inductors. Ooh, I just barely tapped it and a lot was getting pulled, so I'm going to go down a little bit more. We're going to go down to 0.6. Wow, we're at 5 amps at 0.7 volts. I'm going to move around. You guys see if you can tell me something. So you see how things are kind of coming and going when I'm moving? That's what's not going to work. But over here, is that one come and go? Nope. So it's not that one. Move over a little bit here. This is a reflection here. I'm trying to see if we have something over here. I might switch over to the Thermomaster in a second. Let's just give it a chance here. Don't see anything yet. Nope. See anything fade away? Too many reflections. All right, let's switch over to, it's probably on the other side of the board, but because we would see it like really bright, but let's switch over to the P2 Pro and see what that one does. So P2 Pro is going to be a more sensitive thermal camera, higher resolution. Cost-wise, I think it might be about the same price. I have links to both of these inside the video description if you want to check those out. And you can kind of see the difference here. I gotta unplug the charger. When I have the phone being charged at the same time, it gives the kind of that lines of whatever charging error, basically. But so I have this set up on a cell phone on the side, and then I have it casted to the actual piece of software. So, all right, here we go. Here we go, here we go. All right, past 1,000 people watching. Okay, so 1,000 people, if you're here for the first time, I stream twice a week. 6 p.m. Central on Wednesday and 9 a.m. Central on Sunday. Right now we are fixing a G15 5530 that has a short somewhere, but we don't know where. So you see the reflections are a lot less, and it's a little bit more sensitive, but we still have reflections, right? So we still have like this light ring reflection is not even a reflection of light, it's a reflection of heat. And the way that this is looking now, where we don't have any heat coming, oh, right there. Is that it? Right there. Yep, found it. So we would have never been able to see it with the other one. See how it's coming? And it goes away. Can you barely see it? Right there. I'm gonna move, I'll put it off to the side here. See how it's brightening up? Right there. Turn it off, fades away. Okay, so anyway, so it's right here, it's on the other side of the board, and probably what it is, I don't know which one this is. This one may be the CPU. Shoot, I don't know if it's a CPU or GPU, but it's like right around this area, which was probably the MOSFETs for the CPU or GPU. And it's probably the low side or the high side, low side. It must be shorted all the way to ground through one of these MOSFETs that power the CPU or GPU. I bet. I don't even think it's a capacitor. I think it's a high side, low side short on one of the power phases for one of those. Okay. So I think that's where we're at. So pulling the board is what we have to do next. And so it's time to spin some screws. So let me go ahead and get this board removed, and I'll be right back. Cut to scene. That would be nice, right? If you were only so lucky to not have to watch me spin screws. NB1. NB1. Go on. Melt the copper connections in the microwave transformer. We have some fun barbecue for you. Skip. Exclamation point skip. Nice. Yeah, I'm sure we'll edit this down into a video and put it out, and then you won't have to do it. Yeah, you're marking the cutscene. All this stuff helps out my editor. Oh, man. Wait. Nate, set it in the description of the stream. It's in the description of the stream. Yeah. Should be, right? Yeah. All the stuff that I'm using, I have links to all those inside the description of the stream. The video description is what I'm calling it. But if you're on Twitch, then it's under my tools and something. I think I have a link there too. But if you're in YouTube land, then it's just in the video description box. Missing your brother's music. It's on. It's just I don't have it very loud because when I've been editing these videos down, the music ends up being a little bit too loud in the background, and then you know the complainers come out who don't like music in the videos. So I have it a little bit on, so it's not completely quiet. I was able to cool water the CPU with a spare AIO, allowing the laptop to run fine until I remove the laptop. It starts to fail. Thank you. Talking to Sinan over there. Thanks for the follow there. Check if it's a BIOS issue. Do we think it's a BIOS issue? So if we have a short on the main power rail that's almost a 0, and then we inject voltage and it pulls like 7 amps or 8 amps, and it's pulling it to ground, it's not short on the BIOS chip. So you're kind of thinking backwards on that. So BIOS is going to be after the board starts up, but if we're not getting any power rails, then we're not going to get that. The EC chip is responsible for getting the other kind of power rails to come on, but the BIOS chip is for starting the board after all that stuff's up and running. But if we don't even have our main power rails, so remember, so think about a laptop with having I don't know, 20 power rails. I don't know exactly how many there are. Each one's different, but you'll have a main one that comes in on a gaming laptop, it's 20 volts, and then if it's a non-gaming laptop like a Latitude or an XPS or something like that, then it will take that 20 volts and produce the main power rail as being 12.6 or 13 or somewhere around the battery voltage, and then that becomes the main power rail, and then that's the one that they create all the rest of them off of, which is be 5 volt, 3.3, 1.8, 1.05. 1.2, depending on what RAM it has, 0.7, like CPU, GPU voltage, fan voltage if it's a 12 volt fans. So all that will come off of there. This one is a gaming one, so the main power rail is going to be the 20 volts. So what we're seeing is the 20 volts power rail being shorted to ground. And the power management chip is really good at detecting that there's a short there, and it basically turns off the MOSFETs that allows the current to flow to that power rail there, so it doesn't blow up things. It doesn't bloat it up. It's Teaching Sunday, but this one still could be an easy pizza, but not an easy pizza. All right, and the motherboard is out. Looks nice. It's a nice looking board. The machine's really clean. No liquid damage. No Sprite or Mountain Dew, like we saw on the other one. And I believe we saw heat, so right around here, right? So we flip that over. Oh, it's right around here. So not, I swear it was right here. So there's nothing here that I can see besides like the DisplayPort output. So let's see if we can identify something suspicious over here. We might just have a cracked capacitor. So see if you can identify it, and then if you can't, then we're going to inject. So there's our display port. So that's what outputs our video, our little muxing chippy. So here's some power phases for, I think, gosh, I don't know which side's what. This one may be the CPU on the side. I can't tell. But there's a chance that there's heat under here, and I just didn't know where we're looking. But what I'm looking for is a cracked capacitor, because the measurement is a cracked capacitor. So one of these could have like a little crack in it. But I'm not seeing that. And these are all inductors right here. Inductors are bringing current from one power rail to another and smoothing it out beforehand. Okay, does anyone see anything? UT10. UT10 is this one. So this was right underneath it, so it could be this chip. I don't even know what it does. What is UT10? It's a P13DP. So that might be DisplayPort something too, for all I know. What's that? Is that something? No, it just looked like a little discoloration. Okay, so let's inject voltage. We're going to go thermal again. I just wanted to kind of look at it ahead of time, you know. All right, let's find a main power rail to inject at somewhere. I'm going to look over, let's see where. We can probably inject right there on that inductor, I bet. Let's see. Yeah, so this inductor is going to be the main power rail trying to feed this area right here. So this is when you're trying to find a main power rail. Most of the time you'll have a power supply. You'll see a coil, which is the output. You'll see an inductor on the input. And you'll have a chip usually. So you'll have this chip powers it, then the output goes and then powers whatever. So like this isn't probably going to be short. It's just going to be low resistance because it's powering something that has a lot of power. But the input is shorted. So we can inject here and then we can just kind of look over here. All right. Plan of action. Okay, here we go. Going thermal. I need to put this thing away. So what did we do? Does everyone think it's going to be a crack capacitor, or you think it's going to be a MOSFET? I think it's going to be a MOSFET shorted to ground, but I could be wrong. Because it could easily be a capacitor too. It's both. Okay, here we go. Man, it's funny when I hear this beep, it reminds me, I just watched Dumb and Dumber recently with my daughter, and it reminds me of like, you want to know the most annoying sound ever? That's what this sounds like. All right, so I'm not seeing anything heat up per se. I mean, that area still is heating up, so it's underneath this heatsink. I bet it's one of those MOSFETs there. I'm going to up the gigawatts here. We're going to go up to 0.9. My inductor's getting hot because I'm injecting through it. Maybe I'll inject on the other side of the inductor. I don't know. It's under the heatsink, I believe. I do declare. I declare it's under the heatsink. So let me take the heatsink off. I concur. I should have concurred. Should have concurred. So okay, so people are starting to think it's the MOSFET under the heatsink. I do concur. This time only 4 amps. Well, I was injecting a different spot, so maybe that has something to do with it. And then I upped the voltage, and then it went up higher, obviously. Greetings from Germany. Welcome. We concur. It's a belated concur. Should have concurred. All right. And the heatsink is off. Ooh, it's liquid metal time. We love liquid metal. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so this machine, ooh, okay. This machine has, oh gosh. Look at that liquid metal application. Why is it like, I mean, maybe I just took it off sideways a little bit, but why does it look like one side was touching better than the other? Why? Why? Or why is this side juicy and that side is not juicy? There's a dry spot, I tell you. No, sir, don't like it at all. Now, this one's really, really good because it has a double dam. I double dam dare ya. So this, a lot of times they have liquid metal and then they'll have a foam dam, just one foam dam, but this one has a double dam. So a double dam protection. And so I believe this is the area that's getting warm. And these are all power phases for the CPU. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are going to be all the same, probably on the same output. And this one's a separate one, which is for the iGPU, or the integrated graphics for this CPU. And I almost believe that that's what's getting hot there. And this is the GPU that I guess has liquid metal on it too. Yeah, it does. And again, it's juicy on one side. It's a partial juice situation. I didn't know, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power stages. All right, let's do it. We're going to inject again. Okay, 0.9. I don't know if we need 0.9 anymore, but we're going to go in, going thermal now. Executing thermal. Okay, somewhere around here. So we see what's getting hot now, right there, right in that area. Okay, I'm marking it and I'm switching over. So it's this MOSFET right here. So I went ahead and marked it. So what's happening here? So these MOSFETs are in charge of producing a power. Each one of these is power phases for the CPU. So we have 20 volts on one side. So this is going to be 20 volts coming in. And then each one of these things are going to have a PWM signal that is going to produce a lower voltage. Usually this thing runs at 0.7 to 1.3 or 2 amps, volts. And this one went short, but it didn't only go short from the high side where it basically shorted from the voltage coming in. It shorted all the way back down to the low side, so it's shorting all the way to ground. So instead of saying that the voltage is coming in and kind of going straight through, because a lot of times these will short and then come straight through through the CPU to ground, it actually kind of is leaving and going back out and going to ground this way, like that. So that's good. That's a good protection. I like that. It's self-destructed and then protected itself. So you think cap 107? So I want to replace, when we're doing this, we're going to replace both of these two, because commonly those will blow out. We can actually check to see if those blew out. That's not blown, but we want to replace these. And then which one are you saying? 107? Where's 107 at? Here, I'm going to put this in dual view real quick, just so we can kind of look at it at the same time. There we go. Because you guys didn't get to see it that way. So right here, it's right on this edge of the chip, this corner. All right. No, 107 for you. No, 107 for you. Okay, let's see. What else? Am I missing anything else before I start to do it? So basically, I'm just going to pull this chip off and replace it. But is the plane? Wait, is it a plane or is it a MOSFET? You're getting me. So yeah, it's a 302155, right? Is that what it is? I see these go out all the time. 302155s. Yep. So it's an NCP 302155. So this is the same chip that I messed with on that other video where I sat there. It ended up being one of these. I put it on there. It blew itself right back out. And then after that, then the board would barely work. And I ended up replacing all the 302155s and replaced the PWM controller that controls those, and still could not get that thing to post. It's funny. So I just packaged it up to ship that laptop back out because it's basically just a bad CPU. And put it back together, turn it on. I got the Alienware screen immediately. And then that's it. And it doesn't do anything else. I don't know. There's something wrong with that thing. All right, so let's pull this thing off and get it replaced. First, I'm just going to take it off. But again, commonly when these things blow out, we want to replace this resistor here, and we're going to replace this capacitor because this is kind of a feedback circuit here, and it's just safer to do that, even though it is measuring fine. I just want to do that because I don't want to cause any more issues. It's only on these chips that we have to deal with that. All right. And the last one we worked on what day? Wednesday? The one with a really bad MOSFET on the CPU. I was able to get that one working also. We had to replace 2 MOSFETs on there. I had to rebuild all the traces underneath it. And I'm putting solder mask over the whole thing and kind of pressing everything down, and then I got the new chip installed. It actually worked. It ran all the stress tests. I did tell him, though, if it does burn out again, there's nothing I can do. But he's pretty happy. All right, so let's get this guy removed here. Yeah, that was on Wednesday. What about the 2 caps on the left side of the MOSFET? I don't generally replace those, but because those are just high side, low side. They're going from, yeah, so this is the feedback circuit that makes it, it's very temperamental to blowing the chip back out. So, that was crazy. It was so crazy. Was there a hole in the board? There wasn't. It didn't end up being a hole in the board. It just ended up being a lot of burnt traces. We had to grind the chip down to get all the way down to the pads again. We had one 2 weeks ago that ended up being a hole in the board. All right, so we got that off of there. So that chip is off. Now, it doesn't look bad at all, right? We don't see any like signs that it actually is burned up. But that's just the way it is sometimes. So let's go ahead and see if the short is gone. The short is gone. Where would the main power rail be? And then now, we weren't measuring over here. Right here maybe? Yeah. I think that's the main power rail. Yeah, there's no short there. Let me go back over. This is where I was injecting, was right here. Yeah, the short is gone. All right, so we did resolve the short. It's a short to ground. So, oh, look at this. Darn it. I melted that plastic. It's okay. It's just cosmetic. But I'll pay attention next time. I'll make sure I blow the heat this way instead. Okay, let me grab a brand new one of those. Brand new. I'm going to pull these off actually too real quick. I don't use a Hakko at all. I have a Hakko at home, actually, as my soldering iron at home. I don't like it at all. But I just don't like the tip selection for it. It's not a very good... The tips aren't very good for it. So that's my only complaint, I would say. Poor dam. I double damn dare ya. Should it work with the missing VRM? You know, my understanding is it should, but I don't know if we need to take off more stuff in order to make it work with it missing, because I've never got it to work with it off, and I don't want to test a board or to mess it up. So maybe for science, I could do that on a different board that I don't care if it like blows up something else. But because I would think that this thing is like wanting some sort of feedback off of that, and so we're, you know, because there's plenty of boards that come and they're unpopulated completely. You would take off like all this stuff and then it would work without it. So I'm not 100%. I don't know. Maybe Lead Farmer, have you done that, or JFix, or anybody else is here? Premise, have you ever like taken a phase off and then been able to get the board to run without it? Because I have a board. I've had boards in the past where I'm like, oh yeah, I should do that, and it doesn't work at all. So I don't know. I would replace the next MOSFET after this. Which one? This one too? What about all these then? But do you think these are working in pairs? So like these are in pairs, that's in pairs, and that's in pairs? Is that what you're thinking? You might be onto something. MOSFETs are sensitive to low profile, too sensitive. Brand new from Soren's box? Nope, I got some brand new from Mauser. Mauser brand new. Yep. I would replace the next one after that. Let's see. I haven't tried it multiple times. No, after you fix the thermal, use... Wait, what are you saying there, Lead? No, after you fix, check thermal, see if hotter than others. Okay, so just turn it on and just see if it's acting a little funny. Sword tried, but you can't say for sure if it will work on Dells. Okay. All right, so here's our brand new MOSFETs here. Brand new MOSFETs. Official Mauser part number there. And I can't remember how much they are. A couple bucks a piece. $2.50, $3, something like that. Brand new. This AC still isn't working. It's hot in here. Spend the day and drive up to Mauser and Mansfield. Oh, that'd be awesome. Take a tour. Maybe I can get them to sponsor. This stream is sponsored by Mauser, supplying chips daily to POTS people to save another laptop. There we go. Cut that ad, send it over to Mauser. Give my money. It's shiny and new. So we're going to have to tin the pads first. I know I constantly say the same thing over and over again, but the thing is that people need to learn. They need to learn, I tell you. So when it's a brand new chip, it doesn't have any solder on it, we need to put solder on it, So I'm going to do that now, ahead of time. And then, of course, I have too much on the center, so hooray. Let's see if I can pick up some of that. Sold her. Thank you. Sold her. I know, I still can't say it. I like the word solder better. With T's. Not even D's. That's how crazy I am. I hear soda. Soda. Oh, soda, eh? I don't necessarily need to pick up some of this, but I kind of want to. There we go. All right, we just want to have stuff on here, just not bunch. Okay, that works. And I'm going to blow the heat away this time, so I'm not going to melt that damn more. Is that way, maybe? I don't know. Which way does it go? Can't tell. Goes... Turn it around, turn it around. This way. There we go. Stay. Okay. I wanted to name my shop Solder House. Solder House. Solder House 5. I see a picture now. So is that Twitch stream like night and day better? Does it is it way sharper than it was before? Because I also changed the samples to a 32-bit sample or 32 samples or something, so it actually upped the... It's supposed to be a lot sharper for compression. Much better. Mucho bettero. Soldamate. Very nice. Okay, let me grab some MOSFET, or we need a resistor and a capacitor. 4.7 and the capacitor, and I'm just going to grab one off of a donor board because I'm lazy. Okay, 2 components left, and then we should be able to get this going. So these 2 components right here, I removed because, they may be bad. A lot of times they do blow up when you have a bad MOSFET. So I'm just going to pull those off and replace those. This is the donor board. This board is bad. Unrepairable, or deemed unrepairable at one point. tack these on here quickly. Oh, don't fly away, please. Let me add some flux before this gets away from me. Brand new resistors. Nothing but the best. No, don't you do this. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. There we go. Okay, I think we're gonna have problems here. Because this one's already coming off. Let me move this back out of the way. Okay, let's get this one attached. Good. Get in your home. Good. I have to get this one at its home. Get in your home. Do it. Get in your home. Got a big solder ball in there. It's regulation. I think it's regulation. The more solder, the better. Okay. Nice line. Nothing but the best. That's actually a line from National Lampoons. I'm always saying it for some reason. I don't know. I always say that. Where it's like, real tomato ketchup, Eddie? And then Clark says, nothing but the best. Okay, so we got those done. That's a melted just a little. Let me clean this up. All right, I think it's time for a poll. Is this gonna fix it? Is the question. Where's my toothbrush? Where are we at? 2 hours and 40 minutes in, and we're saving 3 laptops. Boy, that's all I'm talking about. Almost there. Hold her in place. A properly calibrated solder ball. That would be difficult to deal with. All right, so Lead Farmer wants me to turn it on under the thermal camera. What we're trying to do is we want to identify if we have the sister MOSFET heating up any more than this one. We want these to all kind of be heating up the same. So there's a chance that, because a lot of these kind of work in pairs, in phased pairs, that this one may have a backfeed issue in there. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. Isn't that correct there, Lead Farmer? You voted positive. All right, so we do have a vote up there. Just cast your vote. 183 people on Twitch. We got 6 votes. We got 1,000 people on YouTube. We have 100 votes. 10% of people have voted already on YouTube. All right, so let's go thermal when we turn this thing on, and see what it looks like. Let me get a charging wire. Let's see. Think about this. Here, I'm going to pull the DC jack from their base. And that way I can just use their jack, unless I have a jack somewhere. No, I don't have one of these. So what we're going to test first is just make sure that it does start powering on. It does start the power on. The short should be gone. I know I haven't measured it yet, and I know that you're super excited to measure that the short is gone. I'm 100%. I 100% think that the short is gone, but I believe this board powers on automatically when I plug it in, so I don't have to worry about trying to power it on. Where's the DC jack plug-in? Right here. I usually do 3 hours for one laptop. I know I was planning on spending a lot longer on each laptop. Now, it really depends. I mean, each laptop's a little bit different, right? So we have different issues that cause different things, and no power sometimes can be easier, sometimes they're not. But when you have weird faults, that's when you start going down these rabbit holes of trying to figure out what's causing what. Now, after saying, oh yeah, this thing's fixed, we could have a major issue after this, right? So can't always just think that's correct. I don't know if I should cool the board down a little bit more so we can see it better. All right, I'm gonna use my blower, so plug your ears if it's too loud, or pull out your earbuds. I'm gonna cool this down just a little bit so we can see the phases better. Okay, add memory. Someone's smart. Someone's smart. Why are you guys so smart? LLM. What? The crazy LLM. You're flinging the board around with LLM is like crazy. I'm actually being a little bit more gentle than you think. I'm prepared for the liquid metal to come off, but I didn't flop it around. When I laid it down pretty hard this direction, but the other way, I'm not flipping it over hard. It does stick on there pretty good for the most part, but it's funny. I guess I've dealt with the liquid metal enough to know. And there's not very much on here. Okay, we're good. Insert RAM. RAM inserted. There's no power button. We're not going to need the power button, I don't think, because I should power on right as I plug it in. So our goal on this step right here, I'm going to move it to this corner so we don't get any reflections. Our goal is to have all of these phases coming on with the same temperature reading, okay? So these are the coils. So the dark area is the coil, so the actual MOSFETs are the things that are going to be, you can't see them right now. All right? Plugging it in 3, 2, 1. Wait for it. And it's not powering on. Do we need to hit a power button or what? We did see that little blip over here. I have a power light on over here. Huh. Hot tub, just prime sub for 7 months in a row. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we're not having it power on. What does that mean? Let's go back and measure our shorts because it's supposed to be gone. And it was. We have a power light. What does that mean? You want 3-hour repair? We got it. We just entered into a repair that's going to take 3 hours. I can tell you right now. Just happened. You wanted it? You got it, buddy. Let's see. Saying 0 ohms on the main power rail, but just wait. Okay, it cleared itself. All right, 79%, 84% say that it's going to be successful. And it wasn't. So you guys are wrong. We haven't figured it out, what's going on yet, though. All right, so main power rail is not shorted. It did kind of seem like it was for a second, but I had to charge up all the capacitors, so think about that. And then we don't know if this machine's supposed to power on its own, so I'm going to guess that it doesn't power on its own. So let's try pressing a power button. Let me find one of those. We got to look around, though. Wear out thou power button. Sometimes there's a power button on the board somewhere. And then we're going to measure for voltage rails after that, if not. Scotland is here. They have arrived. We can start the stream now. Okay, I don't see a power button on this side. Darn it. Dadgummit. Okay, we worked on this board. This is a 7630. When did we do this? I'm trying to remember more about this board. Okay, here's a power button right here. You voted no. The RAM is installed. I got one. Okay. Let me plug it in one more time. We got up to 700 milliamps, but that was an inrush current. Oh. Wait a minute. Okay, so we saw the power light. There's LLM in the middle of my mat. You're scaring me. No, that's flux. No, I don't see any LLM. Scared me though for a second. All right, let's go back thermal again. I'm gonna turn it on one more time. Remove shorts for science. All right, I just want to see if we see what gets hot. We saw that blip over there. I think that's pretty normal for this machine. We see this getting hot over here, and we have the light is on in this corner. Is the chipset on? No. All right, I'm going to measure some voltages. Maybe it needs a battery. You're right. Maybe it does need a battery. All right, I'm going to put the heatsink on. We're going to put it into the machine because we're going to have to hit the power button. We want to have a battery plugged in. I'm just going to leave it like this and just put this back on. We need to eliminate other factors here because I don't work on this machine enough to know like it doesn't need it or it does need it. You know what I mean? The board is fluxed up. Please clean the liquid metal. Oh, I will. It will get the works later. The works. We got more votes no. Hindsight's 2020 on that, by the way. Nate, can you recommend an ideal curved long-nosed pliers? Curved long-nosed pliers. Like, let's see. Oh, you deleted that message. Okay. Greetings from Japan. I saw the CPU was glowing in the spot earlier. It had like a spike of heat for a second up above the GPU. Oh, you said GPU or CPU? CPU, above the CPU. That's normal on this machine. I've seen that because I remember working on this before. Recommend ideal curves for working on boards. Curved pliers. I got to think about what you mean by that. Are we blaming Dennis today? Dennis, it's your fault, Dennis. Always blame Dennis. It's Matt's fault. It's always Matt's fault, though. Okay, I'm going to put this back in here. Let's see, maybe it wants a battery. I don't see why this would want a battery, but maybe it does. Or maybe it even detected that the fans weren't plugged in. That could be it, too, because I've seen that on some machines now. Dennis the Menace. Oh, I hate this. This battery is in my way. Okay, there we go. Got that. All right, I'm going to plug in the power. I'm only doing minimal stuff. Power button, LCD screen, and battery. Should be enough to get going. Matson mods for a RAM fault. It's a VRAM fault would be what you would use it for. Okay, Dennis is the new Dave because Dave's not here, man. Okay, so that's in there good enough. Battery's plugged in, screen's plugged in. The short is gone. Will it turn on? Let's see. Plug in the power. 0.47, went to 700 milliamps, turned back off again. I'm going to open the lid, press the power button, 700 milliamps, back off again. Okay, so there's something where it's testing something, and it doesn't like it. Doesn't like it. Jack did it. It's not the Wi-Fi card. What is going on here, buddy? What is going on here? 700 milliamps. Remove the RAM and check if it's missing RAM. If it's powering on with missing RAM. Shorted keyboard. I don't even have the keyboard plugged in. So all I have is the power button, because this is what we got a second ago anyway. I'll reset it again. With the board on the bench, we got the same thing. It just didn't go past it, which is the same thing. So battery's plugged in now. I don't know if the battery's dead, but plug this in. 0.04. Oh. Oh. Now it's charging the battery. That was charging the battery, guys. I took the RAM out, and it's starting to charge the battery. What? Is this shorted? Okay, will it turn on now? Now it still goes to 700 milliamps. Weird. Try the other slot. But still doing the same thing. But it's charging the battery with it off. Hold on. Wait, it's not charging the battery with the lid open though. The lid closed. I have a 330 watt plugged into it. It uses a 330, so that's good. It's 2 a.m. in Japan. Go to bed. EC driver, EC. I think it must be the EC pizza. It has to be an EC pizza. What is going on? Do you think that MOSFET driver is detecting a short? So 0.2, 238. That's charging current. I'm going to measure the battery. So it's definitely charging the battery, I believe. Try the USB-C. That's an interesting take. Although this is a 330 watt machine. A lot of 330 watt machines will not do anything really off the USB-C. All right, battery voltage right here. All right, so 12.42. We just want to see if it goes up to 12.3. Just kind of works its way up. It's going up. So it actually is charging the battery. Yeah, I don't think it's a DC port. The battery actually is charged enough to run the machine. So if I unplug this, let's see what voltage we have on the battery right now. 11.7. This is getting me a little bit. Hold on. Let me think about this. I'm going to pull the board back out again because I want it on the bench while I'm messing with this. But we have to be able to measure the other power rails, measure coils. We need to see if we have another short somewhere. See, this is what I'm saying. It wasn't straightforward. That's the way it goes sometimes. Okay. So I'm going to plug it in again. I think it does power on its own. We can tell right now by just doing this. Okay, plugged it in. Oh, DC jack came unplugged. Plugged in. Okay, plug it in. 4.6 back off. Let me reset the power meter. And then I want to measure some of the inductors around here and figure out where we have voltages. And see, look. See the power light on right here. Do you see it? So Super I/O is it only charges when the lid's closed. That's an interesting take on that, yeah. Measure voltages on the board. That's what I want to do next, yeah. So battery, but if we're having the main power rail and then the charge coil works, the power management chip's working. All right, well, let's figure out where the 3 volt, 5 volt, and 1.8 are. Let me pull the heatsink back off because I need to be able to get to all those coils. So I want to make sure we have our 3 volt, 5 volt, and 1.8. Do you think we could have a BIOS issue also if we have all the power rails? Doesn't make sense. So I'm just trying to think. Power surge, shorted out MOSFET. Yeah, I mean, brick BIOS just seems weird after a short to ground on a MOSFET on the RAM. Right now I'm not worried about RAM because I just want the board to kind of turn on like normal, and it would turn on and give me an error and kind of hang. But right now it's turning on, and right when it gets to a certain stage of trying to turn on something, it turns itself back off like there's still an issue, like there's a short somewhere. All right, let me just look at my handiwork over here, make sure I did everything correct, legit, too legit. Make sure we don't have any solder bridges or any suspicious stuff going on here. So pin 1's correct, right? The resistors are correct. Nothing's missing. We could have a bad PWM controller, possibly. All right, but let me plug it in. We're going to poke. I got some flux still on there. But we're going to poke around and see if we get our 3 volt, 5 volt power rails going. Too legit to quit. Hey, hey. All right, powered it on again. 0.64, and it turns back off. And so it only went this 0.64 with no RAM in there. It would go to 0.72 with RAM in there. Okay, so let's measure where the coil's at. Okay, here's our coil here. Let's measure the chipset. I mean, we have the thing, has a power light on, so it's getting something. 5 volt here. Chipset has 1.8. 0.8. This 0.8 seems weird. Does 0.8 seem right? I guess maybe this runs at 0.8 on this one. Because usually it's 1 volt. 1.8. We probably should have some 3.3 somewhere around here. There's a 3.4. Yeah, so all that looks fine. 0.8s. All right, so we have voltage over there, and then this is going to be what? VRAM. So that's a VRAM power supply. What else we got? Definitely don't have anything over here. Falling asleep. I'm out. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. It's my voice. It will put you to sleep. Actually, when there's nothing happening, like I can't figure something out, that's boring. Here, pull this up. This could be a small piece of copper you found on the top of that one chip. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, and the 3 volts and 5 volts are over there. That's right. I forgot about that. So these must be the inductors for the 3 volt and 5 volt, because I bet those MOSFETs are on the other side of the board. So we measured 5 here, so that should be 3 volt. Let's make sure we have our 3 there. We have our 3. We have our 3 and our 5. And what else? Main power rail, yes. That's the power management chip. Of course, we have the main power rail because it's charging. Okay, so at this point, I am starting to kind of think some sort of BIOS issue, but that's weird. But I guess a power surge could have done it. Oh, I'm going to take a break for a second, drink some water, and we can hang out for a second while I'm thinking, while I get my think on. Gotta get my think on, man. So, okay, so what we got going on here? So we had a short on one of the MOSFETs for the CPU. That MOSFET shorted all the way to ground, so high side, low side. Gave a 0 ohm short, where we took off that MOSFET, resolved the short. We went ahead and replaced all the components around there. Short's gone. Now it tries to start up. It gets to 700 milliamps with the RAM there, 640 with the RAM not in there. Power light stays on like it's doing something, but it's not going past that phase, and it's going back down to 0 or 20 milliamps, even though it's the power light's on. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab a green juice real quick. I'll be right back. Get my brain going again. All right, you guys talk about yourself. My brain trust is gonna come up with an answer by the time I get back. I gotta go all the way to the break room though. It's on the other side of the building, so the audio might cut out. All right, so I think we're gonna go BIOS next is kind of what I'm thinking, but you guys have to come up with a consensus there. Democracy. All right, green juice, where are you? There we go. I don't know what type of green juice it is, but all right, cucumber, celery, grapefruit, charred lettuce, lemon. Okay. Y'all come up with an answer? BIOS. So, green drink to the rescue. I should pop my brain back up to size. Okay, 0.02 leads to BIOS. We're missing a black cap. Enable. I just told him it was sunny. It's a micro slop situation. The power management chip control the battery charging after the computer is on. It does. It's still the same either way. But when you turn on a board, it usually stops charging to send the current to the actual turning on circuit or whatever, or the power of the circuit, power the board on. Do a BIOS for fun, for science. The SSD was removed. What does that mean? It means that they took it out because they wanted to access their data, but you don't need an SSD. You don't need, like for this board to turn on, like if we're just pulling power, like we don't need RAM in there. We don't need any of that stuff. And then for it to post, you'll need an actual RAM stick in there. But is UC20 missing? Where's UC20 at? Great range for the mic. Really? It just broke up a couple seconds? All right. Yeah, this is one of those Rode Me 2s or whatever it is. Okay, so UC20, I don't know where that is. I'll look for that. Okay, let's do a BIOS real quick. And we can look for this UC20. Where are you saying UC20 is located? Power management chip. Power management chip, I think, is working just fine because all the power rails are up and running. So power management chip is going to be the first line of defense to block the power from coming in. And so that's that chip. Is that it? Yeah. And that worked fine because it's charging the battery and sending current through. And then we have our 3 volt and our 5 volts are there. We have 1.8 on the chipset. We have 0.8. We should super glue the BIOS chip on just for fun. That would be a good option. Now where's the BIOS chip on this thing? Where art thou the BIOS chip? I bet it's underneath this sticky here. There's our EC chip and our BIOS chip. Okay. So our EC chip is a Novaton and our BIOS chip is a Giga device. Giggity. All right, so we're gonna, actually, let's power it on and see if we get voltage to the BIOS, which we should. Remember I told that rule, like it's not a BIOS if you don't get voltage to the BIOS chip. So pin 8 is gonna be your voltage on these chips. So pin 1's here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So pin 8's the last pin. So we just wanna measure and make sure we have voltage there. So measuring while I plug it in, just so you can kind of see that it should be off for a second, then it should power it on. It's off, and now it's on. So it's loaded the stuff out of the BIOS for a second, then shut off. But the light is still on the board over here. See? The LED. They're getting the LED out. UC20 is across, wait, the UC20 was by the BIOS chip. Oh, yeah, so this is a no pop. Yeah, it's not populated. I'm sure it's been populated on other boards. Let me see. My donor board. Where's that donor board at? Here's a donor board that's similar. And it's the same thing. It's not populated either. So I don't know what it was for. Okay, let's extract this BIOS and back it up, and then we may have to build one or just write a new one on there. I don't know if I have one. This is a 25B256EY. EYIG. I don't know if I've ever done one of those before. Very nice. Why does the BIOS chip have scratches on top of it? This is sticky. So there's a whole sticky cover that I just peeled up, and so that's like sticky tape. So it's not necessarily scratches, it's like, yeah, sticky fuzz. See, there's sticky fuzz on this too. Shiny and new, very nice. All right, now I can't see what it says though. Darn it. You guys have to remember it. What was it? 25B256EYIG or 1G? It's a sticky situation, I tell you. All right, let's use this one. So I'm going to use our Pogo Pen reader. This is for 6x8 size chips. And you just press them in like that. This one's starting to get a little bit weathered. And I'm using the T48 programmer. So I mark my pen 1 by just marking on the corner here, but pen 1's the dot. I'm just going to line that up there, press down. All right. All right, let's see if I can detect it here. Yay! Okay, so a bunch of them were in here. Okay, so, oh no, my brain's glazing over. B256E? That's what it is, B256E, and it's a WSON. Nice, we'll read that. Thank you for putting it in the chat for me. I'm gonna send Nate an HP laptop. Oh! Do 80s Billy Idol music only. Rock the cradle of love, yeah, the cradle of love. Yeah, I think Billy Idol, didn't he like get in this motorcycle accident for that music video in the 80s, and then they had him like strapped up and kind of floating around in the music video. He wasn't actually able to walk at the time. At least that's what I heard. All right, let me back this up. This is customer number 27000 repair, and it's a G15 5530. Original. So I always name it original because that's what I've always done. So, and I don't even try to spell it right. Just put the word original in there. All right, the question is, do I have one already made? Do I have to make one, or do I have one already? That would be a good question. 5530. I don't have one, so we get to make one. Hooray! I mean, I probably have a 7630, I bet. So we have a 7630, which is technically the same board, but I'd rather do it. We'll just do one fresh, okay? All right, capiche? So let me get all this stuff set up. It's gonna be fun. It's always fun. We have to open up a million windows. All right, let's do this. Got to get geared up here. We got to open all these windows up. So ME analyzer, we need to analyze with. We'll need to have our tools. We need our, not a repository, ME tools. All right, so let's just figure out, we're going to analyze it first to figure out what the ME region is. 16.1, and it says they use 16.1. I hope it's not locked. I hope it's not locked. I think it's going to be locked. I can tell in my brain. So at 16.1, let's go ahead and open 16.1 up, which is this one, I think. Or do I use this one? You always want to delete all that out of here. All right, so we're going to open that tool up. And so this is the Intel tool. We're going to extract that into its regions. Yay, it extracted just fine. So I want to save this out. And so I'm saving the session. I'm opening it up, I'm saving the session, I'm closing it. Okay, so all I did is when I did that, it actually created a folder with all the parts broken up, okay? And then I saved it as a session and just saved it as an untitled, so we can go back and we can edit all this stuff inside of here and then reopen it through this untitled and then rebuild the image, okay? If that makes sense. All right, so now I need to download a BIOS from Dell, or I might have one. Let me just check to see if we have one already. So I'm going to go to downloads and we're going to look for 5530 BIOSes, Beyonce's, excuse me. So yeah, 7630 and 5530 are the same thing. So we just need to go into one of these. I'm going to just try to find the most recent one. 131 looks the newest. Firmware. All right, so now we need to figure out if it's a PG or an EG. All right, so PG and EG are like how high-end it is. I always just say P for poor graphics, E for extra good graphics. I don't know what it actually stands for, but we need to figure out if we have the poor graphics version or the extra good graphics version. So the way I do that is I take the heatsink. Sometimes it's just written on the heatsink, which is nice. So we'll look here and see if we have poor graphics on here. Sometimes it has it, sometimes it doesn't. So this is an X2, X4, which is going to be for, I think this is going to be poor graphics. X2, X4 would be like a 4050, 4060. Am I right? RTX 4050, 4060, I believe. And then this is the Dell serial number, but that's only going to tell me, we might have it written in our listing where it's poor graphics. Yeah, this is only 115 watts. That's what it's saying there. Or 115 somethings, and then RPL. So anyway, this is poor graphics. And then the higher end one's going to be X6, X8, X9, X11, and that's going to be extra good graphics. So, but I can scan this and see if our listing has some information, whether it's poor or not. Extra good. Does anyone know what it means? I don't know. We always really joke around about it. And I don't know if you knew this, you can scan serial numbers right into our website and it pulls it up. So just to let you know. So I was right. So this heatsink is for the 4050, 4060. And let's see if it shows if it's a PG or EG. Right here, it just says X. Sometimes it would say PG or EG in here. But I'm pretty sure it's PG. Okay, capiche? And so the reason why we're doing that is because when I extract the BIOS from Dell, it extracts it into two different versions of the BIOS. A P version and an E version. So P is what we're going by, so we're going to come into this firmware. So this is a BIOS that I downloaded from Dell straight, and then I use the tool to extract it into its regions, and we want to take the BIOS region, and we want to take the Intel management region. Those are the two regions I want. I'm just going to copy those, and we're going to move them into our extracted folder and paste those in place, and then I'm going to sort by size so it lines everything up. So these are the two we just pasted in this folder. This is the extracted BIOS from Dell, or from their motherboard, broken into pieces. And then P for plain. Oh, is that what P is? P for plain. Okay. I like poor graphics better. Then what was E then? Extended graphics? Enhanced. So enhanced and plain. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I like mine better. Okay. So what we're doing is going to replace these. So I'm just going to rename that copy. I'm just going to take that and gibberish that out and paste that in there. So now that's going to be replacing that. I'm going to copy this name, gibberish it, and then paste it in there. So now we can get rid of those two. Those are the old ones. And so now we have new ones in here. And so now when we reopen the program, we'll be able to open that file we saved, which is this one, and it will reload all the stuff back in there, but it will be putting in the stuff we injected basically. And then I'm just going to output it as a file and save and close. And now we have a new image right here, brand new image. We'll paste it over here, and then this is when I rename it. So we're going to say G155530. We also want to say that it has a, I guess we can say PG, just so we know that's the PG graphics. And then I want to put clean ME, and I'm going to say new BIOS because we put a new BIOS region in there too. And then let's clear the service tag out of it too while we're at it. Use this other tool for that. This doesn't work on all of them, but I'll show you how to do it manually if it doesn't work. So we're just going to patch it. There we go, patched. So now we have one called patched, and I'm going to rename that again and call that no ST. Boom. So now we have a brand new BIOS that we can use on any machine that has the poor graphics. Poor graphics. Now whether this is the issue or not, I have no idea. I thought you had sinus pain. Yeah, I can't believe I've made it this far. But you guys just, every time I fix a laptop, it gives me more drive. Every time you guys interact, it gives me more drive. So I'm happy to be here. All right, so we're going to put this back on here now. All right, so do we think this is going to fix it, people? Peeps? The old people? Poor graphics. So I guess we can do, instead of doing a full poll, we can do a 1 and 2 chat thing. What do we have here? Menus. Okay. So I'm just going to redetect this. That's fine. Oh, actually, I'm going to load this in here. And program. We concur. Okay, so 1 in chat if it's going to fix it, 2 in chat if it's not going to fix it, 3 in chat if it's going to do something different. I know, you know, LED, you always say that, and I never, I'll sometimes force to do that, but it's saying flash and then status region, but I think it's overflows. So I don't know if that, flash not default. It's funny, I always end up doing that. Now, have you ran into a bunch of issues? Maybe Dell doesn't have the issues. It reads that it matters. It's on reads that it matters. Oh, okay. Because when you put it back on there, there's like an extra area, right? 3 is rabbit hole. There you go. That's the third option. Okay, so we loaded it on there. That was actually pretty fast. For science. For science. So we fixed the MOSFET, and we flashed a new BIOS. So 1, if it's going to work. 2, if it's not going to work. 3, if it's a rabbit hole. So I'm going to put a stick of memory back in here. I'm going to do this under the thermal camera because I like it. I like it a lot. I think Dell has a backup region. Dell, these backup regions, I have no idea how those work because they never do anything. Overclock that EC chip with the poor graphics. All right, I'm going to reset our power meter. I hope 4 catches fire. No, don't do that. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. We saw the CPU come on. Did we see the CPU before? Is that what y'all were saying? The CPU did try to power on that corner. I felt like the phases started coming on. CPU flashed for a moment. You ready? I'm going to turn it back on again. Okay. It went up to an amp this time. Huh. Was there heat over here? Or is that my hand? Okay, what do you think? It tried before also? Check the ohms on the coils. Yeah, we might have a bad CPU, which would be annoying. You know what? We never checked the ohms on the coils before we started. What kind of science teacher am I? We should have checked to see if the CPU was already broken. Maybe it's because I thought that it was protected. All right, ready? Let's see. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh gosh, you guys. Oh, so the CPU is measuring 0.3. These CPUs should measure like not that, not even close to that, like 2 ohms or something or more. Here, like, here's another board. It's a different board. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh gosh. Like this one's measuring 20, 30, a lot. That's a lot. That's really high though. I don't understand why that one. This is a bad board though. But still, it's not like. I can't believe that. That's proper brutal. So we did fix it. So we fixed the issue, right? It turns on and tries to turn back off because it notices that there's some freaking issue. I want to what do you think? I mean, is it definitely, I mean, the MOSFET would have killed the CPU if that's what happened, but I don't think there's any LLM anywhere. There's no leaking evidence at all, right? So this is clean, right? There's nothing coming out. You don't see any evidence that's shot around. Same with this. It's installed very cleanly. That's the thing about some of these newer machines when they're putting liquid metal in there. It's very clean. 1 volt power to see the heat signature. Ah, there you go. There's some science. being made. There's some science being made. CPU core is uneven when it blinked. It's in the corner. I suspect the customer will say you didn't fix it. I concur. All right, we'll do 0.8 volts. It's almost 0, so we don't even have to go that high, but 0.7, 0.6. Now I'm scared. 0.6. Okay, we'll do 0.6. We'll take that thing off of there. Come over to thermal. Give you a view of the power meter. Okay. So let's see how it gets hot. So I'm going to put it in this corner so it can heat up a little bit better. I just want to see if it heats up evenly or if it's all messed up, bro. Yeah, it's kind of like an individual line almost, right there in that one spot. The PCH will heat up whenever it's trying to start the board. So the PCH comes on and then it tries to start the CPU, but if it sees the CPU is alive. Oh gosh, yeah. Tap starts playing. Yeah, it's dead. I mean, this thing's dead. There's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is blow it up by putting too much voltage in there. Hold on. Wait a minute. Darn it, I can't get this lined up right. Let me switch this around. I'm going to flip this board over so I can actually reach these coils. All right, I'm going to try to inject on these other coils. I just want to see what it does. So CPU is not even really warming up there. That one doesn't do anything. God, that noise is so loud. You want to hear the most annoying noise? Yeah, it's just too... It's like CPU dream song. Oh, coming in hot. Okay, so CPU, CPR. Interested? Give it some milk. It's getting hot. All right, so we're done with this one, I think. I think we're done with this one. I don't know what happened to that, but that thing blowed. So that CPU is no good. I'm not replacing that CPU. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. What time is it? People are saying next. What time is it? Oh man. We can look at this 559 real quick if we want. Is he here? Or is he working? We can go to just chatting. It's probably the better bet because we only have. I've been under the weather anyway, so it's gonna be kind of. I'd rather wrap up sooner than later, and then we can save the other repair for Wednesday. So we're gonna do the 559 Inspiron rebuild on Wednesday. Gosh, I keep saying Sunday. So how many people are here for the first time? Can you raise your hand or give me some hearts in the chat? Just want to see how many people are new here. He needs to relax for a little while. Yeah, I've just been focusing for the last 3.5 hours straight, being sick. Second time, we got, Colin, welcome, ease. If you feel sus, wrap up early, no pressure. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit better now because I've been talking forever, but I mean, you can tell like my eyes and my throat, I don't sound normal. Look at all those hands. Look at those guys. Well, thanks for coming over. So I do these streams twice a week. And I like that I never look at laptops ahead of time when I look at them. Same with my videos. And so we like to kind of figure it out as we go. First time watching live. And so a lot of times, do you guys end up watching the restream or whatever? I guess the VOD when it's archived. Look at the more hearts coming in. Good job. Yeah, so Is your AC working now? No, it's still hot in here. I mean, it's not hot. It's like 78 in here or something, but it's not. I usually like it a little cooler when I'm working around all this stuff. But yeah, so I do the VODs, and so I actually still get pretty good readings on those. What is the pin of the CPU you measured resistance on the VCC? What pin on the CPU did you measure resistance? I just measured on the inductor coils. That's what I was measuring on, because that's going to be each one of those MOSFETs are output to the CPU. I usually watch after the stream. And that makes sense. A lot of times you can put on the stream in the background and just watch it, but sometimes it's nice to have in the be able to chat. I can't talk. Maybe the AC has shorted the CPU. Yep, that's what it was. It was the AC. Here, I'm going to pull up a bigger chat window because it's hard for me to see this chat. Boom. Hot mic, hot mic. Okay, so... oh, I forgot that this thing wasn't working. Damn AC. Damn AC. Second time watching. Did you get your new chair? I do have my new chair here. This is from the Relax-A-Back store. And it allows me to sit up perfectly straight. So right here, it's giving me full support. But then I can actually lean back, and it does this. The way that it leans back is kind of keeps the chair together in a way. So it feels really good. First time watching, but you watched your videos numerously times before. Did you watch the video yesterday? 5% chance of winning on that one. Been a blast, bro. AC corrupted the BIOS region. I don't know if the BIOS region was messed up. I would have to go back and look at our footage, because what y'all were saying that the CPU was coming on the other one, so maybe it was already working just the same. The clip of what turned on the motherboard is on your Discord DM. Oh, let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
The CPU came on there. I don't know if we saw it for a second. Is this earlier on? Was that earlier on, or was that the second time we did it? Yes, you made it 5% and a good chance. Watch for a while. I'm working on laptops. You're amazed how I'm able to fix these really bad motherboards. It's because I don't like to not fix something. That's the problem. It's a problem, though. Go home to those kids. Yes, I should go home. I need to mow the lawn, too. Still got my Alienware 17R1 from 2014. The battery's gone, though. This is Premise's second time watching. Second time this week. It's more like it. Hello to everyone who loves electronics. Everyone is an electronics enthusiast here. You know what I hate about this bell message is that a lot of times I can't read it and I have to go find it in there. So the engineer has his laptop in for repair. Poke it. So it works, though. It works, because I had my other technician working on it. So that one, it turns on everything. The screen's messed up on it, so the screen needs to be replaced. So basically it's a full rebuild of that one. And so that's what we're going to end up doing, and he wants me to do it on a stream, or a video. And we'll need more time. I mean, I can show you what the mess looks like. Let me grab it, but it's definitely a lot of pieces. Definitely a lot of pieces. Because the palm rest needs to be replaced, the base, the back cover. So it's like a whole plastic rebuild for the casing. And then it has, it's like the palm rest. I have brand new palm rest, but he included this one that's kind of messed up. But I'm going to put a brand new palm rest on it. And then the motherboard actually works also. So this one actually is maxed out with RAM already, but we're going to end up rebuilding it and trying to get it to be as fast as possible. The back cover, the mounting brackets broke off of here. So we're gonna have to try to get the back cover to be able to attach back on. And then his screen is messed up here where when you plug in the cable here, if you move this around, the screen basically goes away and comes back and gets lines and stuff. So we have to do a new panel. And then I have a whole bunch of parts in here. It's just, the whole thing's in pieces right now. And so the whole thing's gonna have to be rebuilt, put that back together and try to get it back to factory when it was actually shipped in, I think 2017? Can't remember what year it is, but it's basically the Inspiron Gaming Edition of the laptop. So we'd like to reach 800 likes by the end of the stream. If anyone hasn't liked the stream, the YouTube stream yet, can you go ahead and press like real quick? That helps more people know about it. They're only Dells there, Gordon. I work at the city of Austin. We refurbish decommissioned laptops and give them to the public. Well, that's awesome. But I have limited skills looking for another repair outlet to keep the laptops out of the landfill. Well, come on by. If you're at the city of Austin, yeah, bring them by. This is the part of the channel is sponsored by Engineer by Engineer Man Stan. That's right. Whoa, 50 bucks. Man, thank you. I'll get you taken care of there, Engineered Man Stan. Let's see. I used a pair of small forceps and we'll make sure to grab and hold the plastic harness with the wires so then they don't go into themselves and gently wiggle them back and forth. Is that for the Wi-Fi card? Because that sounds about right. Better than factory. I actually say like nothing happened. That's the better than factory is going to be for the Northridge fix there. I'm in Portugal and I've been following your YouTube channel for a while and I love it. Well, thank you there, band. It's weird when you watch a YouTube video shorts since 2023 and this is the first time I watched a live stream of yours. Yeah, I started doing shorts at the end of 23 I think when I started doing them. And then I did those for about a year and some, and then I started doing long form, and then I started doing the live streams in, I guess, July of last year. So it's almost been a year of streaming, doing live streams and doing the long form videos. Already gone and came back to Switch already. And we already made Twitch partner, which is nice. The detective. The best repair detective that has ever lived. There you go. I'm the greatest Dell detective that's ever lived. I saved another laptop. Oh, it's such a ridiculous thing. People love it though. $50, who gives more? You gentlemen over there. Oh, good. Nathan uses a Men in Black flashlight when he picks up, God, this thing moves so fast. Let me switch views here. With his pickup laptop Inspiron. I usually only have 3 Alienwares. The rest are Dells or HPs, which an Alienware technically is a Dell, so you have 7. Hank, thank you. Thanks for coming by. Thank you so much for everyone who liked the video. Spike-like/PM software coming along. Awesome. Love it. Yeah, so nobody is building something that's way better than what I have. And we're going to get it all out to everyone to be able to use it. My stuff is not as good. First new car was in 1978, a Subaru Brat. Yes! I love the Brat. The Brat are Tat. The Baja, the newer Baja, the older Baja. This is my favorite channel by far. Well, thank you, Circuit Fix. I try to keep it entertaining. I try to keep it flowing. I try to keep, dialogue going. I don't like watching streams where there's nobody talking, so it drives me crazy. Could you remind us of the model is your electronic screwdriver? Oh, this. I would like to hunt one down on eBay. So they are definitely on eBay. We did find them. I guess you can look around. I don't know what the model is, but do a screenshot of that with your AI and then do a reverse lookup and you'll find them. There's a box under the desk. You can hook 2 of these screwdrivers to it. And I can't remember the name of it. The box probably tells me, but it's way under there. Way under there. And then this is just whatever bit you want. It uses the same little square end here, and then I just slide it down. Sorry I was late. What'd you fix today? We did fix 2 laptops, and then the last one had a bad CPU. So the first 2 were actually EC pizzas. So Amco Electric ASE series inline electric torque screwdriver. There you go. So that's the name of it. So look that up on eBay, see if you can find some of those. They are probably, I mean, they're 20 years old, I believe, or older, 25 years old, 30 years old. But they're still expensive on eBay even. Here, let me see if I can look that up. That'd be fun to look up here. Let me get on the bay. All right, so on the bay, yeah, that's not it. Thank you for the YouTube shout out. No problem, man. No problem. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's not 100% what it is. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, see, it looks similar, but that's not it. Hold on, that's not the box. I have another box that's out, not under my desk. Let me go look at that. Yeah, that's not what it looks like. Hold on, I'll be right back. So I have one in here too. Oh gosh. It is an Amco. Yeah, Amco. Here, let me see if I can just unplug this box and bring it in there so I can show y'all. Do I have it all wired in here? Yeah, this thing's all wired in here. Okay, so it's a, get ready to write this down. So it's the model of the box is AE-2045 DPS. AE-2045 DPS. And it's AIMCO is the company. And then the screwdriver, let's see if the screwdriver has a part number on it. Made in Taiwan. Ooh. Here we go. And then the screwdriver is AE-4010. AE-4010. Okay. Yeah, I had it all wired in there, so I couldn't pull it out. Okay, so AE-4010. Okay, and the other one is 2045 DPS. 2045. There we go. This is what we're talking about. This is it. This is it. This is the box. The box. Step 1, get this box. Step 2, fix some laptops. So $652 for this setup. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so this is exactly it. This is the same box I have, and there's 2 different speeds. You can put on high and low for each gun you put in there. And then you have the 2 screwdrivers. That's crazy. $652. It's a big old box. $600. So $50, I guess you can buy this box here for $50 if you wanted to, and then go find the actual screw gun. But I mean, $700. $325. I don't know. I didn't pay that much for them. I can tell you that. I got these probably. I got them right up. Actually, I got them when I first opened. Yeah. So, and a friend of mine owns a computer store here in town, Discount Electronics. You probably heard of it if you are from here. And so he bought a bunch of, like a whole pallet of these. And so we had them all, and then so I got a bunch of them. Not a bunch, but I have like 4 or 5 in the building. So, nice time to get them, or best offer, I guess, or best offer. I mean, if I bought it again, I probably wouldn't pay more than $100 for a set, you know. eBay, they watch the stream and they demand. Oh no, they're gonna Get me now. Looks expensive. That's a lot of money for a box. Step one, get that box. So there's the model. I have a question about a 5415. 5415. Okay, would it be an Inspiron or a Latitude? No, 5415. Okay, let me just think about it. So Alt left shift doesn't work. Problem. Okay, so whenever you have random keys not working, you're going to have usually one trace or one of the connections on your keyboard that are not getting signal. So reset the keyboard connection first, and if that doesn't work, then it's probably just going to be a keyboard replacement. Way expensive. The box. Greetings from Principality. That's one way to get screwed on eBay. Oh, it's ridiculously high priced on an old piece of cardboard boxes. Latitude 5450. I have a Latitude 5450. But that's not the 5415. That's somebody else, right? Dragon Ball has a 5450. Never thought I would see a screwdriver that costs more than $100. I think Linus Tech Tips screwdriver costs more than $100, doesn't it? Do you ever need an electronic engineer degree to get into the line of work? I didn't graduate from high school, so no. You just need the passion to learn. So just watch all the videos you can and take notes and experiment and try. And so the 5415 is an Inspiron. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be one of the lower end. If it's a 15, that's an AMD probably. So yeah, it's just going to be a keyboard or just reset the connection on those. Duty calls. Have a great day, everyone. Well, thank you so much there, Scott. You're the man. All right, I'm going to wrap it up a little bit early, 15 minutes early. I'm tired. I got to go home. What's the status of a new power meter build? So it's built. It's kind of, I have instructions out there. I have the plans out there. Not all the way. I haven't done a video on it. That's so that I guess the status would be the software has kind of been released as a list where you can buy stuff, buy the parts, but I haven't done a build video to explain how to build it. And I'm kind of waiting because nobody is building something better. And so I may go that route anyway. It works great. Yeah, Premise has one. I sent one to Premise to try it out. And it works good. I got to get Dave one. I got to get some other people one. It's a pain in the butt to build them, so right now. Okay. But I'm done. Thank you so much for coming out. I want to thank all the donations and new subscribers and the new people to the channel and all the moderators for keeping the chat clean. I will see if I can fix that rules thing there. We were able to fix 2 out of 3 laptops today. The very last one did end up being a CPU, short on the CPU. I may experiment later with kind of maybe pulling off some of those MOSFETs and making sure we don't have any backfeeding going on or something weird like that. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, and thanks for watching.